Live from Miami, Florida, and the great void in space, it's Friday night!
Woohoo!
Thank you.
That was really nice, live from Miami.
I always do that.
I know, it was very cool.
Do you know how hard it is coming up with these opening stingers? Like, I want to say so much stuff, but I always try to figure out how to say live from Miami, and then yeah. So
Well, you do a great job.
I'm glad that you appreciate that. How was your weekend, everybody?
It's been great. Thank you, Marcella. How about you guys?
Yeah, good. Very, very good.
Good. PJ,
I'm so
what
excited
are you?
we have Geek and Review here.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to nod off. I didn't think I was going to make it.
And you sound great. Your mic's improved.
Yeah, you do.
I'm just loaded with the cold, so I've got a bit of a deeper voice, that's all.
Yeah. I really had a good week. First thing, I think it was like just yesterday, they finally released the premiere date for the Orville season 3. I thought I was gonna die. I didn't think that it was possible that they were finally gonna release something from Orville season 3. So I am severely excited, but this morning I had a bigger heart attack.
Oh,
And
that's right.
For those of you who have followed me on social media, come on. So, what? Get the fuck out of here! Really, Russell T. Davis? Oh my God, that is all.
Who's
I'm
that?
just gonna.
The showrunner for the new Doctor Who from season 1 through 4. And he's back now. So they've called him back to do the whatever season we're on now. What is it, 13? Season 14?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be after whatever season we're on now.
Yeah, it'll be the first season without Chris Chibnall. That's all the fans
Yeah.
need to know.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
that's. But all due respect to Chris Chibnall, I love Chris Chibnall, but to see the man who is most directly responsible for me falling in love with Doctor Who in the first place come back as showrunner, that's unheard of.
Is
So
it?
I'm
Do
like,
showrunners don't come back? Well, I guess we only have one showrunner usually for a show consistently in American TV until recently. I guess Terry Matalas is going to be the showrunner for Picard season 2. So that's I don't know.
but but for Picard, I mean, showrunners are for Star Trek showrunners in general are a dime a dozen, but in Doctor Who, from what I understand, and granted, I'm not the Doctor Who historian, so don't take anything I say as gospel. But from what I understand, this is the first time that it's happening, that somebody actually left and is coming back. I can't.
We'll get to more Who later. Blue's demanding. Hi, Pastel Pirate, who's here also. Blue's demanding that we talk about Foundation. I kind of want to get Foundation out of the way because Fathery is going to join us after, so he's
right.
waiting for us to talk about Foundation. Did everyone here see it?
Yep.
Everyone saw it. Has everyone here read the books?
Yeah. I have not seen the pilot, but wait. I'm not like Fathery, so Starfleet Boy has conditioned me not to give a shit about spoilers. So you guys can go ahead, the two of you, Geek and Starfleet Boy. I don't know if you've seen it, PJ, but
PJ, I think saw it, right?
I watched it until I fell asleep. Probably about 10 minutes in. I was really tired, and I just didn't get back to it.
Okay.
So I don't really know. I don't care about
Spoilers either.
No.
Yeah, I don't care. So you guys go ahead and knock yourselves out because
Did any of you guys read the? Well, I'll just ask you guys a bunch of questions, or you can ask us questions since we've seen it. We'll do it in that format.
Yeah.
You got to be careful nowadays because when you ask people, "Did you read the?" 90% of the time, like people are going to be like, "Book? What's
Yeah.
that?
What book?
Yeah.
Reading? Reading an actual whole novel?"
That's okay. I just still have to ask because
It's very
quite
rare
different.
now. Like people always listen to books now. They never read them. Everybody I
true.
know was like audiobooks. I'm like, really? I can't.
No.
I couldn't listen. I'd know it the second I'd buy an audiobook. It'd be like that episode of Seinfeld where George buys the audiobook and it's a dude who sounds just like him. And he's like, I can't listen to myself.
Yeah.
Did you guys read or listen to the Foundation novels at all?
Oh Jesus Christ!
I
No.
haven't.
I tried to read the first one. I had a good whack at it, so I knew what was coming with regards to the twist at the end of the second episode.
Isn't
All
it
right.
100? Isn't it a short book? The first one, it's like 100 pages.
No, it's longer than that if I recall.
No, it's
I read
quite
it
longer.
27. I read it 27 years ago, so actually I only remember like the basics. Yeah, I know that's a long time
Wait,
ago.
you mean you're not 24 years old like I thought you were?
No, dude. She's old. I'm gonna go she is old. I'm gonna go send the tweet. While I do that, you guys talk about whatever you want, or maybe Geek can give us like a summary of what happened
Yeah.
since he had a great video that he put out today.
I've spent so much time talking about the video today. I don't want to listen to my own voice talking about Foundation anymore. But yeah, guys, it's been a while since I've seen you. So how you doing?
I'm good. I actually got a brand new computer, a brand new Mac. What is it? 15-inch with a Retina display, so it's really cool.
very nice.
One of my family members surprised me with it. And hey, Martian.
Hey, Ruben, how's it going?
It's Mr. Sarcasm.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Mr. Sarcasm.
He just seen we were having too much fun, so he's tuned in to bring it down a little bit.
He's gonna pretend. He's gonna pretend he's seen Foundation and agree with everything you're about to say.
Oh my god.
And then he's
Oh,
gonna turn
it's
around and
so
say,
lame.
"I haven't seen it."
It's so lame.
If
Wait, Ruben,
I watched it. And
He
fell
liked
asleep.
it. I think he liked it. Ruben, put your headphones. or
But
something-
Ruben,
it sounds
seriously,
like
have
you're
you
far.
watched it? Oh, actually, no. He doesn't have Apple TV. Oh wait, do
No,
you?
but-
Because you watched Ted Lasso.
No, I think he's watching. Wait a
Oh,
minute.
the morning show, the second episode, very disappointing. Of the second season 2,
Yeah,
episode 2.
I actually
Yeah.
like season.
I actually
episode
want
1.
Reese Witherspoon's character to just die now. Like, I'm sick of hearing her fucking voice. Oh god, her character's become so annoying. I'm like, why are they writing her in this way?
She's become
It's hard to deal with.
Oh my god, she's become like Jennifer Aniston's clone, like she was in season 1. Well,
I can't. I don't know where they're going to be. The
don't know
most
what
interesting thing about season 2 is where they're going with the coronavirus thing and how it's set in early 2020 and how people are just like dismissive about it at first, and some people are like we should take this seriously, and other people are like yeah, it's just like the flu. Actually, the name of the second episode is called "It's Just Like the Flu."
Really?
Risky.
Yeah, and no, it's not risky. It's real. It's the way people were back then. It's like back then.
We're back then.
2020.
And the old
It seems like a
2020s, I tell you
lifetime
what.
Back in my day.
Let's just say people were a little bit they were a little bit more.
Listen, nobody.
They weren't as wise back in the day.
Whether you felt something coming or you saw the signs or not, nobody expected the world to get this fucking derailed.
No.
Nobody. Like no, I don't think anybody was like back in December of 2019 saying like this is gonna be big. I remember telling my mother about it. Like there's this virus and it's gonna be another like SARS thing. I said it was gonna be like SARS. I said we're all gonna have to get another like a shot, but I had no idea. And it's funny
Yeah, I
how
was the
like
same.
you have media now covering or shows. It's such a big thing in society, like in history now, that shows kind of have to deal with it. I know Curb Your Enthusiasm is coming out in October, and they filmed their season as a post-COVID thing. Like the bulk of it's over, but it's not really. I mean, we're in a big fourth wave that's even hitting us here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Foundation, yeah.
Foundation.
Yeah.
When you do a Google search for Foundation in the images tab, you just get makeup. So you always have to type. It's very clever. You have to type Apple
Yeah.
Plus, Apple TV
And all the
Plus
posters have got the
Foundation.
Apple Plus logo on them as well.
What if you type Foundation Apple and it's like somebody doing makeup on an apple?
You could type series, you could type book, you could type publication.
Ruben, real quick question:
Show.
did you read or listen to the novels?
I read some of the first novels, but I didn't read them all.
Okay, how long
Like
ago? Like
7 or
27,
something?
27 years ago, like me?
Yeah, like
Like in
35
high
years
school,
or
yeah.
something.
It's
Can I
like-
ask a question? Why is it always important for something that is based on a comic or a graphic novel or just a book? Why is it so important that people read the source material?
It's
If it's about the show, shouldn't the show stand on its own? I heard it's different though. I heard it's like
yeah, it's kind of
it's not faithful.
As you're,
It's kind of it's faithful in that
It's
term
picking,
spiritually.
It seems to be picking and choosing from different
yeah.
books, basically, and then kind of just putting them together and then adding a little more action to it all.
Yeah, there's a few characters that have been added into the plot to make it work, and a few sex changes for characters as well. But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
The sex change
Sex
thing
cha-
is
sex changes.
yeah,
I like that.
the sex change thing is very common nowadays. So I'm like
It's
not
gender swap. It's gender.
gender
sex
swap,
change is an
sex
operation.
change. Yeah, they didn't have.
But you know what I meant in terms of character.
They
Yeah.
all turn transgender in the show.
I would have actually preferred that if they did that, that would have been cool. But whatever. Yeah, there's two characters. This one here, who I forget the name of, but the mayor.
Salvo.
Yeah, Salvo is a male in the story, and
Right,
then
and they
also
introduced her as the warden,
right,
not
right.
the mayor.
not the mayor,
So
and then
I was curious.
there's also I'll just go through the major differences. You probably already went through these Geek in Review, but what's the name of the character that that Harry gives the award to?
Oh, the main girl, you mean?
Gail.
Gal. Thank you. It's Gal. It's Gail. Gail in the books is also male, and then the character that she's involved with romantically is from the prequels. Doesn't appear in the first novel at all, and that character is the adopted son of Harry Seldon. So totally, they just took him from the prequels and put him into the Foundation, and then. I think this is a cool addition, but Emperor Cleon, Emperor Cleon is not a clone. None of the cloning stuff happens in the book, and it's Cleon the Second who starts out in the book. So it's not like a genetic dynasty. But I actually think that's one of the coolest concepts.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really cool concept, so I didn't mind that at all. I didn't mind any of the other stuff either, but those are the major differences.
I think with the 3 clones, that's just for continuity of the story, because they're going to time jump obviously a little bit, so you're always going to have that anchor there for those characters, which I think is really, really smart when you think about it.
It's brilliant because you're going to have Lee Pace as the main bad guy no matter what time period it is.
And he was so
Not the main
good.
bad guy,
Yeah.
but the leader
Yeah.
of the
The lead villain, right?
sword.
Kind of. It's hard to tell. It's early days.
I
Okay.
mean, it's the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, basically. So
Yeah.
You can look
Yeah.
at it a million ways.
Yeah, that's 100% what it's based on. And the stories span 500 years of time. Some of the other things I took note of is that I remember when I reading the books, the numbers were astronomical. The galactic population was actually in the quadrillions in the books, and here they only say it's a trillion or a few trillion.
8 trillion is
8
what they
trillion, which I think that's kind of they lowballed it, because I do think it would be a galactic civilization with that many planets would probably be in the quadrillions, just like Asimov had suggested. And then the time spans are, I think, much larger, for oddly enough, they're talking about 20,000 years of darkness. I don't think it was that long in the books, but I don't remember exactly.
No, I think in the books it was, if they don't do anything, it was 30,000 years.
Oh, it was, okay.
Yeah, and if they do what Harry's saying, it was 1,000 years.
Are we
It's
going to
not
talk about the Star Trek
darkness.
episode? Are we going to talk about the Star Trek episode of Deep Space Nine that ripped this story off then?
Oh, no, I don't. Which episode? I can't remember.
So there's one where, I think it's the second episode where Bashir the augments show up on Deep Space Nine, and they work out the algorithm to predict the future, and they want the Federation to surrender, so there'll be a period of darkness, and
right
it'll come
on.
out lighter on the other side. And yeah, I totally forgot that they ripped that off.
Is it a ripoff or an homage?
It made money,
let's
so
call it a ripoff.
It's a beautiful looking show. I've never seen quite this level of production for a TV show since, like, I guess, gosh, like Game of
it's
Thrones
insane.
kind of had.
It's fucking insane what they put into the show.
Yeah,
no.
PJ
I mean,
fell
with-
asleep 10 minutes into it, so he's gonna watch it later, I'm sure.
don't blame
But
him.
like,
Nah,
slow.
probably not. I wasn't really interested in what I saw in that 10 minutes. I think I'm gonna wait for like maybe 3 episodes and like give that. But I don't know. I was just like, I started it and I was like, maybe it was right after Ted Lasso, so it was, I was like, I'm coming off a high, so.
Yeah.
it's the first TV show to have a space elevator. I don't think I've ever seen it. I always wondered how a space elevator would work, and I really liked
It has a space elevator?
Yeah, it has a space
I
elevator.
wrote that in my notes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, a fucking space elevator.
No.
do you remember the figure of the amount of people they said that died in the spoiler alert attack at the end of the first episode? It was a huge amount of people. It was 100 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 million people on the planet because
That
this
was
thing.
the most beautiful destruction porn I've seen in a long time.
So this has nothing to do with Earth, right? This is like
No, this is a planet called Trantor, which sits in the galactic center. So humans, 30,000 years from now, PJ, humans start an empire, and that empire eventually.
So Earth was a thing at one point.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
still I forget in the novels. I think
They
it's still,
go back to Earth at one point in one of the novels.
at one point. Yeah, it's still around. But the center of the galactic empire is this place called Trantor, and Trantor is just like a giant city planet. Sounds familiar? Yes, because George
Free
Lucas.
Cloud.
Yeah,
Rip it
well,
off.
not just Free Cloud, but George Lucas totally took Trantor and turned it into Coruscant for Star Wars.
there's
And actually,
straight up shots where they're like, I mean, it's funny how Lucas took from that, but then there's shots where they
Yeah.
clearly said, "Thank you, Lucas. We're going to take that from you."
yeah,
and use it for
100%.
ourselves."
100%. So, like, yeah. So this is a planet covered in city. It's the center of the Galactic Empire, and the Galactic Empire spans like tons and tons of planets, just like in Star Wars. Basically, Star Wars' concept. A lot of people argue it's just this. He took the world building that Asimov did and just said, "Oh, I'm just going to take this and take that and put it into my universe." But it does also make sense just from a standard science theory. If there were a galactic empire, it would probably look just like what Asimov described. Remember, he was actually a scientist, and so he was writing science fiction like very close to like what the going theories were and ideas were about like the universe and cosmology at the time. So
Psycho
Well, again, it
history
was-
in
it was-
itself is fascinating.
It
What's
was
that?
so-
What's that?
It was so. Well, he said psychohistory was fascinating.
oh yeah, psychohistory.
I'm just saying, yeah, he it was just very much a sci-fi shell on the Roman Empire, but he was into the leading edge of sci-fi at the time, or not only of sci-fi, but like the discussion of a space elevator has been around for a long ass time. Even before, like basically, we were getting to the moon, people were talking about building some sort of thing that could get into space like that. So Asimov
weren't
was
they-
using things like that and adding it to this Roman Empire kind of
Concept.
theme.
Weren't they considering a Stairway to Heaven in the 70s?
But
Boom, 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 boom.
They were this thing, PJ and Marcelo comes apart, like it gets destroyed, and then they destroy it on both ends, and so this thing starts falling, and it actually wraps around. It's so big because it takes 13 hours to go up and down it. It wraps around the whole planet and creates like a huge scar around the whole
Awesome.
planet, like, which is insane, and they did a really good job of depicting it. I thought that scene was insane.
Yes.
That's
All
when that must have been, I don't know if that's when I text you on or message you on Facebook. Apple's not fucking around.
No.
Yeah, they really
They're
are.
like, we came with
No,
a science fiction
no.
show. Here you go.
this is going to get 5 seasons because it's Apple. Like, if they've given that Jason Momoa show see a second season, this is going to get a second season.
No. With the amount of money that this show costs from a production standpoint, you bet your ass they're gonna give it 5 seasons.
I think Lee Pace said that they've been working on it for the last 2 or 3 years, so it's
It
been
got delayed because it was supposed to come out sooner, but they pushed it back.
they pushed it
Because
back.
If I remember correctly, I remember reading that they had delayed it a little bit.
The story takes place at the height of this empire, where they're like at their strongest ever, and this mathematician named Harry Seldon, who works at the main university on this planet of Trantor, comes out with this, like, basically what he thought was going to be like a foolish endeavor, but he took this, like, theory called what is it called?
History.
Thank you,
History.
psychohistory. And he takes this concept that was mostly like poetic, and he turns it into like an actual working theorem that can predict the future on the large scale. Like, it doesn't do a good job with the individual, but it does do a great job at predicting what's going to happen on the large scale. And based on this mathematic equation, he's able to determine that the empire will fall within the next, like, 1,000 something years, and then there'll be a dark age of 30,000 years. And the only way that there's no preventing it. It's going to happen. There's no way out of it. But the only thing that we can do is create, like, a sort of a foundation for the next civilization to, like, build off of. And that's the reason it's called Foundation. And so
I just read that the production was delayed because of the beer bug.
the what?
Corona.
Oh, but would you call it the beer bug?
The beer
beer
bug.
bug.
Corona. You know, like a beer.
Oh.
Corona.
Oh yeah,
Come on, bro. Get hit with the times, bro.
Whatever. Interestingly enough, physics works that way. Like, on the macro scale, physics is very predictable. You can predict, like, what objects and things are going to do, but on the quantum level, on the individual level, if you will, it's unpredictable. So that's what the show is kind of battling. It's like the idea of, like, fate versus choice, but
Well,
in a
even
very
that predictability now is used in, like, things like Facebook. They know what to advertise to you
algorithms and
because
shit like that.
or YouTube. You know, they know
I
what to
knew
show
you were
you.
going to say that.
Facebook can't figure me out. I'll tell you that.
Nothing but love for your algorithms, YouTube.
We're always trying to confound the algorithm. But anyways, so yeah, the first episode is smashing as far as visuals go and stuff like that. But also the story is pretty compelling, even though they've changed a bunch of stuff around. And then in the second episode, it's like a more chill episode. And then spoilers, Harry Seldon is dead at the end of the episode. Who we thought the main character was, but anyone who
Wait, but
No, I had
you
no
serious?
illusions. I had
Oh no!
I had
spoilers.
I
Too
had
bad.
I had no illusions that
I don't care.
that
I don't even know who this hairy guy is.
by the Harry Seldon's the guy who, yeah. Were we saying
Marcel, sorry.
No, I had no illusions that Harry Seldon was going to die early on. I'm like, this guy, he's gonna die.
I'll tell you what's
You're
cool.
talking about Moriarty from the.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But-
Jared
but to
Harris
me-
from Chernobyl.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah. But to me, Jared Harris will always be that guy that draws pictures of Olivia Dunham. From
He was
Fringe.
good in Fringe. Yeah.
Come on. Come on. I'm
was-
the JJ guy, so come on.
I first saw him in Mad Men, and he was really good in that. And what happens to him in that is just. Ugh.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in
Well,
Mad Men actually.
he's no stranger to science fiction. He's also in The Expanse.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, he plays a belter.
He plays the belter rebel, the rebel belter, whose name I can't remember. So I'm just gonna call him Harry Seldon for now, because that's
But
what it is.
But from a story perspective, I'm really happy that David Goyer and his writing partner for the series really decided to pick and choose what they wanted to take from the Foundation books and use that to tell a pretty coherent story from what I'm understanding.
I'm
Look,
very
I
excited.
haven't-
Yeah, go ahead.
you know,
sorry.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen a lot of the pilot, but it seems like they have fulfilled their duty as storytellers, because one of our creeds, or at least one of my creeds, is to tell the best story that I possibly can, and if it's based on source material, that is telling the best story I can, but paying homage to the source material. And it sounds like from what you guys are telling me that David Goyer and his writing partner for the series achieved that to some extent. So I'm very, very pleased with that.
Well, it
It's
remains
hard
to
to
be
tell from 2 episodes.
seen. Yeah, from 2 episodes. But I will say that I'm definitely interested in seeing episode 3, and I'm excited about the series. So I will say, yeah, like they've definitely presented a compelling product. There's a lot of things I think. I mean, I'm gonna have to read the books like again or listen to them, because there's a lot of ideas I have um about it, which I'm just worried won't come across. But it looks, yeah. But I will say that based on what I'm seeing, that the spirit of it will be true. In the book,
See,
Harry Seldon, the main character, dies in the first like 20 or 30 pages of the book. So
It's
that's
page 28 or something like that.
something like that. Yeah.
Right, and then he comes back later in one of the other
Well,
prequels or
what
whatever.
happens is, spoilers, is that he's like this insane kind of, he's just so insanely obsessed with saving humanity and like being this like kind of, builder of this foundation, so that the second empire, if you will, or the empire to come, will have a good chance of not making the same mistakes. So based on the algorithm that he creates, or that he studies, and the equation, the psychohistory, he's able to determine like exactly when certain, like approximately more or less when certain disasters are going to happen. So you get what's called a Seldon crisis, and he appears in hologram form. So I imagine we'll see him again as these Seldon crises approach, and so he'll come back to warn the characters at the time.
he'll be like Jarrell, my son.
Yes, exactly. Bathe in the sun, yes, or whatever. But yeah, this is Trantor, but this is a deviant art. I just realized this is like a deviant art thing. It's someone's design, but this is Trantor on the show, and it looks just like Coruscant to me. It's like very close.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious to know when they're going to reveal what Salvo sees inside the vault.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
that
remember.
seems like a season 1 ending kind of reveal. And
Yeah,
I'm like, are they going to drag that out for the whole fucking season?
You're going to have to remember that. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, I think.
That's
for some
weird
people.
to me. So I don't know. And then it would be weird to me if they did it like in episode 4, But
as far as I
What-
know, the
what-
vault's new too. I don't remember the vault being a thing ever
I don't think they call it the vault in the books.
in the books. Yeah.
What I thought was interesting is, I think it's at the end of the first episode, where they learn that Harry hasn't really finished the equation, so there's holes in his information in predicting what's going to happen, because he doesn't predict the events at the end of the first episode.
Right, exactly. What it is that like, yeah, like any theorem or equation, it's like something that you're still building. So yeah, it is interesting, but he sees the big picture. I think that like he knows like the like he knows that despite these missing pieces, so the other interesting thing is like the character of Gale is called in to basically either refute or like, because this math is so complex that only another like genius mathematician is able to either refute it or deny it. I mean, or support it. And so Gale actually looks at the equation and realizes, oh shit, everything he's saying is true. But Gale reveals that when she looked at the equation, she sees
It's not finished, basically.
that it's not finished. Like it doesn't tell the complete picture. But she's not unsure if there's enough. Like sometimes she said like you could still be missing pieces but still see the big picture. She's like not sure quite yet if there's enough of the big picture to make up for the missing pieces. So that's an interesting like little cog in the plan. But I think actually that what it might be is that the missing pieces, I think, I'm just guessing here, that it could be that the missing pieces that Gil is seeing are not in fact missing pieces, but parts of the equation that she doesn't see or understand yet, and that as she explores Harry Seldon and like gets to know him more now that he's dead, it'll be through like whatever records and stuff like that, and as she like learns more about the equation, those missing pieces will come together. And I kind of like that she's going to be the one to uncover what those perhaps will be, and or maybe she'll add them, and or she'll realize that those are probably points where you can like futz with it or whatever, and she'll come up with that.
In this universe, are they all human, or do they incorporate like aliens are around as well?
Yeah, there's spacers, and that's the only
there's
other
AI like
and
data
AI.
type of
Yeah, but otherwise it's all human. Yeah.
Like there's
Well, they kinda mention-
no other planets with like alien civilizations that they interact with or anything.
right. There's
No.
no like
No,
Klingons
nothing
or
like
anything. No. It's all,
Well, I didn't know. Well, I no Klingons. of
No,
course.
I'm just saying. Yeah, there's no like
I know.
alieny type. No
That's,
Romulus.
that's
no.
interesting. Like that. Well, I suppose it couldn't change the book that much if that's how it was in the book. It was just like our whole galaxy is just like nobody but humans, and we just expand outwards, and that's. It's interesting.
There's a couple of other there's another. The Expanse seems to do that, but it's only it's
I
localized to
haven't
our
seen.
solar system.
I don't know if you guys have ever read a story, but I've always been. With the story I've been tinkering with was the idea of us going out into space and then running into another set of humans coming the other way. So
Right,
a second planet that evolved basically similar with human type-
parallel, yeah.
Yeah, our Romulans basically.
Well, Romulans.
I mean, yeah, Romulans broke off, but I'm saying like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of idea where it's just
Well,
maybe this is
That's like
If you-
yeah. Go ahead.
If you go down the rabbit hole of this completely fictitious, made-up kind of thing on the internet that I was into years ago, but I didn't believe in it, but it was fun. It's like this idea about a secret galactic federation, and that the concept that they introduced in TNG is that human beings are actually like another version of a much older species from a distant planet like Earth. Like we're like not the OG. Like there are similar, like almost like humanoids out there and stuff like that. But they're also like the Star Trek concept where there's
Yeah,
humanoids.
or Battlestar Galactica does it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like. But who knows? Maybe it will turn out that we keep exploring and we keep expanding, and just like nothing. We just colonize, and it gets to that point where it's like this foundation where we're just tens of thousands of years later, just all over the place.
It could be that I like the idea that like there is a federation perhaps, and that we're like the Mintakans, or one of these like civilizations that hasn't achieved like a certain level of technological
I shot an arrow
prowess.
into a dude the other day thinking he was a god.
Yeah, so we're nice. So we're actually like in a kind of biological preserve where they're like, oh yeah, that's like the wilds, like there's no intelligent life there yet.
We're the
or,
Wild
like,
West in the galaxy.
yeah, we're the Wild West in the galaxy, and so one day they're just waiting for us to like master a certain level of technology or whatever, and then they'll come and say, hey, guess what?
I don't think
There's
it's
a whole
about
civilization.
I don't think it's about technology though. I just think it's about maturity as a planet. Like we're at war with ourselves from the beginning. We were at war with ourselves from the beginning. It's never stopped. Like we still as a planet can't cooperate. Now there's this code red thing about like if we don't all wake up as a planet and reverse climate change, we won't have a future. Like,
I mean,
things are just going to be too hard. It's going to be too hard to live.
The bottom line is that the main source of all of our conflicts is basically over
Scarcity.
resources. Yeah, just like when you boil it down. So like if we can create and what powers that is electricity or energy.
Well, technology. Yeah, I'm not dismissing
Yeah,
technology.
and but mainly just like energy. Like you could boil it down to energy. So like one of the things that they go over in cosmology is that there's these different like I think we've gone over it here on Starfleet Web Track too. There's these like different types of civilization. So like we're not even a type 1 civilization. So a type 1 civilization has mastered its
Dr.
entire
Michio Kaku talks about that.
yeah, that's
Yes.
it exactly. The Type 1
I think
civilization...
they say the foundation's like a Type 3.
Yeah, exactly. Type 1 civilization has mastered their planet, a Type 2, their solar system, I think, and then a Type 3. So Type 2 civilizations would be like Dyson sphere builders. And then a Type 3 would be a galactic civilization, like a civilization that has mastered and like, you know, the resources of its whole galaxy. And so
We're
Gone
Type
from like a
0.
zero.
We're
Yeah,
type
we're like a
0
Type
or
0,
negative
yeah.
1.
We were 0 and now we're like a -1.
we're regressing to a -1. Great. So yeah, when we reach Type 1, that'll be the first step towards this, like, if there is in fact a galactic civilization out there that's already out there and that's already old, then they could easily mask themselves from a Type 0 civilization like ours. Like there would be no like they could create like the illusion of loneliness, like this whole thing of like there's no, you know, we find exoplanets but we have no idea of life. They can create like a interference pattern that like makes it look like the universe is just us.
Well, I'll let current evidence, especially in the last year or so, about all this UFO disclosure and this just basic admission by the government of there's stuff out there that we have no idea what it is. It was like, at least from their point of view, at least that's the official word. And it's like, I think it's already, it's like, it's one of these things where we're not ready, and technology can help us get to that point where we're all like, you know, using, money doesn't exist. We live in that ideal world where everybody's taken care of and whatnot. But like, yeah, it would be about 20 or 30,000 years before we get to the Type 1, I think.
Type 1 or even a Type 2.
No,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
that's type 2, I should say, not
Yeah.
Type 1. But Type 1, maybe time is literally running out. Like it's not even hyperbole. It's like we only have so long to get there now.
That's like what one of the things I love about Battlestar Galactica, which kind of does something. Foundation so was the first to do this like weird concept that like a lot of science fiction is kind of taken from. Battlestar Galactica suggests that like the human civilization has happened like 3 or 4 times from nothing.
Perfect circle.
Yeah, like all of this has happened before, and all of this will happen again. They contend that like humans have created artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has killed almost all humans. Sound familiar? Matrix. So artificial intelligence has killed almost all humans except for a few. Those humans survive, go off and colonize another planet, start the whole cycle over again, and voila, you have the whole thing again. And so there's even people who say that the Atlantis myths that we have is a memory of that happening on Earth, that there may have been a previous human civilization that reached some kind of technological prowess, but didn't like have the maturity, as PJ was saying earlier, to truly utilize it and harness it for like benefit of everyone.
The first species were the dinosaurs, who then built spaceships and left.
Dinosaurs.
They're in the Delta Quadrant now.
Now they're in the Delta Quadrant, yeah, waiting for us to find them. But that's going to take a while, yeah.
So
I
that's-
used to know a guy that was like a Christian scientist and actually believed that the Earth was only 2,000 years old and refused to talk about dinosaurs. Absolutely refused to acknowledge they existed.
It's no older than
65 million
1,600 years.
65 million years ago. Can you imagine like in between that, and how the humans have only been around for like a few million years, if I'm not mistaken, not like 65 million years. So hey, Jeremiah.
I actually had a nun tell me as a child that time didn't exist before Jesus' birth. I was like, that makes no sense. I'm 4 and I know that's stupid. I remember a lot of stupid shit being said. I used to have all kinds of questions about like when
I was the same,
evolution.
yeah.
It's like, did we really come from apes? And they're like, no, you came from Adam's fucking rib or whatever. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Don't try to explain it to me. It's a science class, but still, yeah, it was weird like how they dealt with that shit. It was like they would explain evolution in a Catholic school. It was like, but doesn't that contradict your fucking story?
But you were all about the revolution, not just the evolution.
You used to get in trouble for questioning anything, man. Like any kind. Like,
So did I. Yeah.
is there any historical proof of Jesus? Shut your fucking mouth. Go to the principal's office.
Mouth!
You know how like the Bible, it
like you're
doesn't
not
mention
supposed
the
to swear
Catholic
at
Church.
You're a nun. Why are you swearing? I don't
Show me, show me an ounce of tangible proof, and then I will consider your point of view. But if you don't show me something tangible right now, I'm just gonna go that way. Thank you very much.
There's a possibility that a rabbi named Jesus, who was not of immaculate conception, lived, and he's who they were basing the legend of Jesus, the deification of Jesus, occurred at the Catholic Church.
Well, Jesus is a retelling of Horus. Jesus is a reboot of an older Egyptian.
But the
deity.
Catholic Church took the Horus
Amen Ra, Amen,
and all that, all that stuff, and placed it upon the real life rebel Jesus, as the Irish have a song about him, the rebel Jesus, which I play at Christmas time. I love that song. Anyways, they took the real life rebel Jesus rabbi and deified him, basically, like just said, oh, like we're just gonna make him immaculate, we're gonna like put
where's
all
your
these...
proof? Send me the links in the private chat.
It happened
We're gonna make him white.
It's actually historically
Where's the proof,
recorded,
pal?
if I'm not mistaken. It is historically recorded. It happened when they were
in what book? What's the name of the book it's recorded in, pal?
There's a ton
I think you're telling lies.
There's like
I've been watching The Sopranos.
There was a congress or something that happened when the Catholic Church, like when the Christian Church became a thing after the Roman Emperor fell. Speaking of empires falling, and they decided what books. There were like a ton of books that told the story of the Christian story, if you will, and they decided what books were too crazy and which ones were not, and
I actually talk about this in episode 1 of the 4th season of my podcast. It's going to come out next year with a family member of mine who went to Catholic school, and we actually go over this a little bit. So I just want to go to a shameless plug for my podcast. Sorry, but it's relevant to the conversation.
No, nice, very cool.
It's relevant.
Anyways, like if you really want to get into those kinds of theories, you can read Dan Brown's novels, because he goes real deep into them.
Oh man, I watched the first 2 episodes of the Peacock Show, Dan Brown's Peacock Show.
What?
I didn't even know there
that?
was one. I just read about it the other day.
The Lost Symbol.
Did you like it?
It's the 3rd novel of Robert Langdon.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I read that. Though.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like the guy that they picked for Robert Langdon.
Robert Langdon.
But the show's pretty good. It has some nice, especially episode 1 had a really nicely shot fight scene.
So it's a continuation. That's cool, because they did the Da Vinci Code movie.
Yeah.
They did and then I read that one, The Lost Symbol. It takes place here in the United States. It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Can I just mention something? I've been watching The Sopranos, right? And you're talking about foundation, predicting the future.
Right.
Anyway, it's like 2nd season, I think. It's like there's stuff going on in the world, and somebody says to Tony Soprano, he's like, "Yeah, Quasimodo predicted all this," and Tony's like, "You mean Nostradamus?" He's
That's
like,
funny.
Quasimodo was the guy from Hunchback of Notre Dame. He's like,
Harry Seldon is like a Nostradamus in this like story, like a future type of Nostradamus type of character. That's a very good way of looking at him, I think.
anybody can write fancy, vague quatrains and have him like mean something.
But look at this.
It's like horoscope.
Well, I think that's kind of the question too of the one of the questions of the show. Is he Nostradamus, or is he actually,
A prophet,
an actual
not a
person?
prophet, but
not a prophet? Yeah, right.
a
but somebody who
predictor,
figured
an
this shit,
actual, like an actual. Are his equations like legit or not? It's pretty crazy.
He has control.
But the thing that I find most interesting about the whole story is that like the whole concept of like how an idea can hold so much more power than even an empire. Like Cleon is so blind, like he thinks that like I don't know what Cleon is actually. We'll find out. Like this Cleon is different from the like in the books. It spans over many emperors, like just failing to see the light. So it's gonna be interesting that you have this dynasty of this genetic dynasty, as it were. It's the same individual, the king, or the emperor, that's the same person. And what's cool about it, what I like about the way the Imperium works, PJ, is that Cleon has like an old version of himself like a middle-aged version and then a young version, and they simultaneously seem to function as a ruling body. So like they consult each other. Like the Cleon, the middle one, they refer to each other as Brother Dawn, Brother Day, and Brother Dusk. And Brother Day is obviously the one that's like current, like the ruler, but he's constantly consulting his older self and his younger self. It's crazy. I should pull up.
I love that idea, that whole concept of.
I want
a
a clone
genetic
dynasty. Yeah, I want a genetic dynasty of myself.
It was great. I think it's the first scene where you see them together and they're having dinner, and Brother Day is basically instructing his younger self. So it's like when people say, "Imagine you could go back and tell yourself when you're 15 X, Y, and Z." He's doing that. It's
yeah, literally.
Weird.
If I had clones of myself, I would do so much stuff to make my life better. But if I would have done that, I probably wouldn't be on this conversation with you guys right now. So
You mean like multiplicity?
Yeah, here's the genetic dynasty. So you have so the first Cleon emperor, before he died, he created two younger versions of himself, and he decided that it would just continue, the cycle would continue. So when this Cleon dies, this one now becomes the elder.
Whoa,
and then
wait, okay, hold on a second. Is that older guy Lee Pace in old age makeup, or is it a different?
No.
no,
No,
it's a different actor. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know because they kind of look the same. From
Yeah, they did a good job of the casting, I think.
Fathery, what is this BS?
Oh, is Fathery here?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. We're gonna stop talking about it when you come
Yeah,
on.
we
were
had
waiting
a
for
good
you.
long conversation about this stuff.
Yeah, we
I'm
did,
interested
yeah.
now. I probably will.
What I think was interesting as well is you see that they're beginning to divert from what they expect from each other, all three of them, in the
Sometimes
second episode.
I need context sometimes because if I'm like trying to figure stuff out too much at the beginning, I get bored.
Well, you were
kind
super
of.
tired too. I mean, like, come on. It's
And
like
yeah,
you're
and
watching,
this was
well,
like,
that's-
oh, this show's like, it looks really high end and epic. I'm gonna have to think too hard for the next.
No, Father, we're done. Father, come aboard. We'll stop talking about it as soon as you come aboard. We were just like waiting for you.
I'm
So,
gonna keep talking about it. I'm gonna keep talking
no,
about it.
well,
What about the land speeder, huh? How about that land speeder?
well,
Yeah, there was a land speeder.
That show's
Yeah.
badass.
yeah.
Join us. Be
What were you
with
gonna say,
us.
Marcelo?
I was like, this is a
Well-
better Star Wars movie than the entire
Well,
Disney
yeah.
trilogy.
Well,
What'd you
three
say,
of us
Marcelo?
who are here right now will talk about it on Sunday, hopefully.
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Wait, Sunday? Aren't we talking about something else?
Well, no. See, yeah, that's something that we have to. Yeah, but we're also going to talk about something else. But we're also going to be talking about this, right? Because
Okay. It's
By
up to
Sunday-
Geeks hosting.
Do you know?
Yeah, if you want to talk about it, that's fine by me, man.
Do you know Rick Moranis is coming back for the Honey I Shrunk the Kids TV series?
What? There's a
Do you know
TV
they're making?
series?
Do you know they're making a series reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel Air
Yes.
called Bel Air?
I heard about this.
Yeah, I'd heard about that.
Yeah, like a more serious take on.
Also, Child's Play, the TV series, which is a direct continuation of the film series, not counting the reboot, is coming next month. October's going to be good, man. You got Many Saints of Newark.
Dune.
You've got
Many Saints of Newark.
Dune.
I mean,
Got Adam's Family too.
James Bond.
oh yeah, No Time to Die. So excited about that. I'm gonna have to
Um,
wait for it, but I'm so excited about it.
Whoever has HBO Max, go watch it's only a 43-minute documentary. It's about Daniel Craig's run as Bond. And man, if you don't have sympathy for him and I really hate, okay, I'm gonna get on camera. I don't know why I'm not off camera. It's gonna be dramatic. You know, when he filmed the one before this one, what was it called? Spectre.
Spectre.
He broke his leg, right? He, instead of delaying it for 9 months and having the film be delayed, he wore some kind of thing on his leg, walked around with a broken leg. In the opening scene so they kind of had to do things with the broken leg where he was just walking and they had to like build the scene. Anyway, they even talked about Quantum of Solace and how challenging that was, and they're very honest about like this stuff, right? But anyway, and somebody asked him like right away, "Are you gonna do another one?" And he said, "I'd rather break this glass and slash my wrists." That created this like hate, and he already gotten the hate. Like when he was first cast, like he was crapped on until Casino Royale actually came out and people saw it. But then people were hating on him again just because he said something stupid, and he went on different talk shows and said, "Listen, he said like explain the context." And once you find out like what he went through on these movies, especially Spectre, where he's like, and even Quantum of Solace, where like he was so insecure about the script because there was a writer's strike that like he's like, "I'll go full force and do all my own stunts." You see him do all of these stunts where it's just him, and it's like barely a stunt guy in Quantum of Solace, even as bad as that movie is, and like really fucked himself up. And people don't realize like it's not all just CG faces on a stunt guy. Like some of these actors really are committed and want to like do a great job. And man, he's a really likable dude, Daniel Craig. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see how people can like dislike him, and I fucking just hate. Even when we first like the blonde Bond, the short Bond, I'm like, oh well, he's my height. It's kind of cool to see a Bond like who's like around, who's not some fucking like towering dude with, there's nothing wrong with Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery, any of those guys. It's just they went in a different direction, and it really paid off. And they even acknowledged that some of the movies aren't great.
Yeah.
They try their best. But I really want to see No Time to Die. I think it's going to be
pretty good,
fucking
I think,
amazing.
There was already a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV series in 1999. Did you know that?
Yes, I watched it.
No, I had no idea.
It's different actors. It has no connection really with the movie.
Okay.
It's weird.
And then while that show was going on, they made a third Honey, I Shrunk
Yeah,
the
with the
Kids called
baby,
Honey,
right?
We Shrunk Ourselves.
Okay.
No, it was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk blew up the baby.
Blew Up the Baby, that was 1990 or 1991 or something.
Isn't that the last one?
And then the third one was a straight to video. Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Oh, it was Blew Up the Kid, actually. It was
Blew Up the Kid was the second one. That was the last theatrical one.
Do you guys want to know something absurd that I did today?
Yes.
What?
I tried to get my grandfather to watch Star Trek Discovery along with my aunt, who's a little bit more tolerant of Star Trek, and she wants to understand it. And for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to instead of showing her season 1 of Star Trek Discovery, I went right to season 2, and I spent about 30 minutes explaining to them what the hell was going on. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. So, what I'm going to do a little edit myself. Anytime that I will show Star Trek Discovery to anyone who is not like us, what I'll do, like anyone who doesn't know me, what I'll do is I'll go watch season 3 of Star Trek Discovery.
I think that's a good place to start with Star Trek Discovery. You can start
go
with
from
season 3
there,
if you want to.
right?
But
I wouldn't recommend the show at all to anyone. I mean, and I'm not even a hater of it. It's just I don't recommend okay things like good things. I fucking love. I'm like, you gotta watch this, but anything else, it's like whatever.
No,
I mean, even mention it.
Yeah.
But you like Discovery, and I understand you want other people to watch it.
So yeah,
Me
I
too.
would
too.
recommend
Ruben especially.
Ruben.
Well, let's not talk about
one of my
Ruben.
favorite
right now.
shows,
We don't want to talk about Ruben. Do we want to talk about Ruben? Do we want? I want to talk about. Okay, no. What was I saying? I totally lost myself.
You're like
So-
Michael Keaton in Batman Returns. You want to go nuts? Let's go
let's
nuts.
go
nuts. Well, let's get
So
nuts.
yeah. So
Let's get nuts.
So basically, I would start if somebody asked me who wasn't like us and who didn't know me, I would say go start Star Trek Discovery season 1 from 3 on, and if you like the show and if you're curious, go back and watch the pilot. But after you do that, go right to season 2. But I wouldn't suggest that they watch the actual pilot of the show first. I would suggest that they start with episode 3 of season 1 first.
Jeremiah says Disco starts with season 3 to me. The first 2 seasons besides the season 1 episode 1 and a couple other episodes don't exist. Wow, you're like hardcore, Jeremiah.
I'm signing up for Paramount Plus right now.
I'm probably sounding like a hater, but you guys know that I adore Discovery. So I'm just trying to make it more accessible for people who, well, if taking that into account, people who aren't like us don't have the baggage that we do.
What's that?
So-
what does that mean? I want to know what
It-
baggage I have. Tell me about my baggage.
Girl, where do I begin?
Come on, it's obvious.
Ruben might be able to talk about my baggage, but yeah,
Baggage- Marcelo,
I want to know what baggage I have.
Baggage for the sake of this conversation is that oh, come on, please don't do that to me.
Father's
I'm
not gonna
not-
come on now. You show that.
Yeah, I am talking about Star Trek Discovery.
Oh,
season
sorry.
1.
I was
And
just
you're-
prepping.
No, and you're
I
already.
was prepping the next segment.
And you throw something in my face that I also love. What are you trying to do? Explode me right now?
Well, I mean, just Discovery's old news, or the Orville's like legit recent
all right,
news
all
here.
Well, okay.
Okay,
okay,
but shit.
I love how
will-
we're gonna get
we don't-
Picard and Orville
okay.
at the same time. It's gonna be
people
around the
who are
same
not
time.
like us don't have that love for Star Trek as a franchise ingrained in our veins, in our blood, right? So that's what I mean by baggage. We don't
Okay.
have that.
So you're saying
other people-
basically
Yeah.
there's some people, no matter what, like they can't be objective or about Star Trek. It's very subjective
Yeah,
for those
yeah.
people. Like no matter
Yeah.
what, they're gonna
Yeah.
watch it, and they have like all kinds of feelings associated with it.
Father is
Yeah.
waiting, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, is he? He's not here. I don't see him in here. Hold on.
He says he's are you gonna let
Are
me
you gonna
into
let me in the show? Yo, I sent you the link on Twitter. Hold on. Let me send you. I don't see you in the thing. Hold
Yeah,
on.
Oh,
but,
I thought he was there.
I'm gonna send it to you again, Father. Sorry. I'm gonna send it on Messenger this time. Copy. All right, hold on a sec. All right.
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying, Marcel. I think I understand.
We
what
gotta
you're
end the night with some karaoke.
saying. Ooh,
Yeah.
yes. Can we do that?
And yeah, so yeah. What I'm basically trying to say is that we have Star Trek in our veins, and the people.
I like
who
it how
aren't like
Riker
us-
says it.
and
That kid's got data in his DNA.
yeah.
Or her. Data in her
yeah.
DNA.
Yeah. We have Star Trek in our veins to some extent, and people who aren't like us don't. So they won't judge the show.
What makes us like
Same
us? Is it a
way-
genetic mutation like the Wolverine and like no, I'm just
No,
pulling your
it's-
chain
you
now.
know, I know it's these individuals didn't grow up with it like we did.
I think Marcella, I respect what you're saying and I kind of agree with it, but I think it doesn't matter. Like I've gotten into things later in life and I feel like sometimes that I love something more than someone who might be into it or as much as someone who might have been into it since they were a kid. So I think it's just a matter of like your enthusiasm for something just comes. Like it's just something that happens. Sometimes you fall in love with something, whether it's a person or a franchise or a novel or an idea, and you just go gung-ho 100%. And I don't think that's like, I'm sorry to say this, but I don't think that's like a one of us type of thing. I think all humans are capable of nerding out on something, and for some people it's sports, for some people it's Star Trek. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm look, I'm okay.
One of
Okay.
us. One of us.
One of us, it's true.
Gobble gobble.
I don't know, Marcelo. You'll find that I'm biased against tribes, even though I'm a monarchist. Anyways, Here's
That's
the
why you're
or-
biased against tribes, because the queens and kings were good at like wiping out the tribes of native
Dang.
people when they were colonizing the world and committing genocide.
Dang.
To the point that like you internalized it, where like your
Damn.
Pakistani ancestors were conquered by the British military
Jesus
and were
Christ.
starved and
Truth bomb.
massacred, and but you're like you just turned that around. You're like, oh my god, the queen is so cool. I wish I could have crumpets with her at Buckingham Palace.
That's
Yeah,
kind
but
of
it's more he wants to see the interior decor and the history, nothing else.
I kind of just want to go and watch Star Trek with the Queen, to be honest, and I believe she does watch Star Trek. If
She
I'm not
wouldn't want to
mistaken.
watch that. She'd be like,
If I'm not
oh, this
mistaken,
is bloody rubbish.
she's a fan of TNG. Here's the
She's
Orville.
like, this isn't Coronation Street.
Is this an update to the uniforms? I feel like it is.
I don't know. I
have
haven't
no
thought
it's
about
mirror,
this.
the badge is the wrong way round.
That looks like a poor fan Photoshop. It doesn't
Ah,
look like an
jeez, I
official
pulled up
image.
something wrong.
I haven't thought about this show since March of 2018 was the last time I tried to watch an episode of it.
Yeah.
I rewatched season 2 last week.
I'm gonna rewatch the whole. I'm gonna rewatch both seasons. Before
Yeah, I have to
this one.
rewatch the whole thing. I can't remember much of what happens.
I
in
love
the
the
Orville.
Orville. And if you don't believe me, look at this.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna put you on.
See, I love the Orville. See,
Oh yeah, look at that.
yeah. Marcy did that for me. So
Oh, very cool.
I'm afraid we've discovered that Marcelo is an AI, that he is a computer-generated facsimile, because it is impossible to like both Star Trek Discovery and the Orville. It is a mathematical impossibility.
So it's saying you
just a rule-
support
it's a-
Israel
it's-
and Palestine.
It's a societal rule, really, more than anything else. But yeah, it's like you can't like one and the other.
sorry.
It's like,
I'm-
yeah, I really love Star Trek Discovery. That fucking Orville. Or it's like, I love Orville, man. Fucking Drakeys.
I know a shitload of people who like Star Trek and the Orville.
I know a lot of people like Star Trek and Downton Abbey. I mean, there's all kinds of people in the world.
I love.
We're
Star
not.
Trek and
We all
Downton
should.
Abbey,
But
it's true.
but you have the the little groups, and it's like you're all just.
They
being
should
foolish.
do a
I just-
Oksana Troy show where it's like Downton Abbey but in Star Trek.
It's
I just
Downton,
never got into
Downton.
the Orville, but I don't.
Yeah, like I know people who legitimately have like very valid criticisms about the show that like I can't deny it, but I love it anyway.
It's
Like
just fun.
they do literally, like especially in the first season, they lift some things like directly. Like it's bordering on it's bordering from like homage to rip off.
But it gets better, right? Like,
it does.
Isn't the
Season
second
2
season better?
Yeah, it
season
gets a
2
lot
is really
better.
fucking good.
Jeremiah
Not to-
says. Oh, go
yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Jeremiah says, "Is the Orville really good? I never got into it because I just thought of it as a rich man fulfilling his childhood dreams of playing Trek."
Well,
Wow.
it could be both, I suppose, because it definitely does feel like Seth MacFarlane's vanity project, kind of. You know how like the dudes making fan films, they always make themselves the captain, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
who's the Axonar guy, John Peters,
Right, right.
He's,
No, I know the guy. you
Alec
mean.
Peters.
Alec Peters.
Yeah.
Peters. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's Garth the Vizar in Axonar, and like James Cowley was Captain Kirk in Star Trek Phase 2. Same thing with like the Star Trek Continues guy. It's like like whoever is like doing the fan film, like they always like make themselves the captain. So I think it is kind of that, but it could still. That doesn't mean it can't be good.
I mean, I find that inconsequential. Like somebody who has a passion to do something and wants to make them the star of it. It's like Jerry Seinfeld. And Seinfeld. It's like Larry David and Kirby. It's like so many examples of people who create shows and want to play either a version of themselves or be the star of it. And
like
play the
Martin
main
and
character
Martin,
Martin. There you go.
Andy Griffith and Andy Griffith.
But I think there was a
One thing that Orville does right. Oh, sorry. One thing the Orville does right that Discovery doesn't is the space battles. There's a huge battle in the second season, and it looks 10 times better than anything in Discovery.
It really does. It looks really good.
Oh, cool.
But it's
Wait. There's a space battle that looks better than Discovery?
It looks more like 90s DS9 big battles than it
You're talking
Yes.
about
Modern Trek does.
Are you
Modern
guys talking
Trek,
about the Isaac stuff? His planet stuff?
Yeah, the Isaac stuff.
That
The
whole
planet
battle-
Earth when they're attacking the planet. Yeah.
where like there's a million things going on, but you can actually tell what's going on. and,
interesting.
and everything's clear, and it doesn't have any of this CGI dirt haze on the lens bullshit that makes the CG look more artificial than it should, because it's like actual photorealistic. Then you layer it with 100 things, and it's like now it looks like some weird like artsy painting. It doesn't look like real photorealistic ships. When the Orville, I know in the first season at least, I don't know about the second season, they use a combination of models and CG,
Really?
which actually forced the CG artists to match the photorealistic models exactly, not mess around with them too much to kind of over CGI them, I guess.
Like Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Mandalorian
Yep.
is great at that stuff. It just makes everything look clear, and it doesn't compensate with a lot of CGI flourishes, I find.
Speaking of
is
Coruscant,
that Isaac two-parter? Is that in season 1 or season 2?
Season 2.
Because I never made it that far. But I did see those episodes because I only saw like the first 6 episodes, and I didn't like any of them, so I stopped watching the show. But I did see part of the Isaac two-parter at a friend's house. I saw like the last like 15 minutes of part 1 and like the first 15 minutes of part 2. And just from, seeing like these little 30 minutes, it did look like the show was much better than the early episodes I saw, which were largely like retreads of actual Star Trek episodes. Yeah, I saw like those things.
I might have to watch it again because this looks better than what I remember on TV. So maybe I was watching it low res or something.
It feels like late 90s, early 2000s sci-fi show, but like with modern effects. And mind you now, like the Orville, I don't know the exact budget, but they have to work with a lot less money than other shows like that have this amount of visual effects. So like for what they did, what they had, apparently season 3 is supposed to be like fucking like the best looking in terms of production value. So they really want to up it that way.
Cool, man.
They're improving. It's
Gotta
like
get that
Discovery
Disney
with me.
money.
It's like each season is it's getting there. It's
And
getting
season
Yeah,
3 is Hulu exclusive, so it might be a little bit more rated R, kind of like that show Evil that Antonio watches. But it was the first season of Evil came on normal CBS, and then like the second season is on CBS All Access, and I was like, oh, like they can say like the F word now, and it can be like a little bit more bloody and gory because it's a streaming show instead of a network
They
show.
didn't. Seth MacFarlane never alluded to it would be like more hardcore. They may be able to take more risks in terms of like visuals and swearing, but one thing he did say is that the episodes are longer. Like they don't have to adhere to a 40 whatever minute
Yeah, that's another advantage.
format.
Yeah, Doug Drexler, who works on the Orville as well, said that. He said some episodes are like 45 minutes and some episodes are well over an hour.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool. That's how Foundation was. The first episode's like an hour, 13 minutes, and the second one's like an hour. The Orville is weird. Blue says the Orville is weird because I don't care about it when it's gone, but when it's on, I'll watch it. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about it. Jeremiah says, I don't know. I guess I like merit over self-aggrandizement, and the Orville just rubs me as an unoriginal vanity project. I think it transcends that, Jeremiah. You might want to give it a chance because
Yeah,
I know what you're saying, but I feel like it goes beyond that. Fun will commence. Yo, what's up? Fun will now commence. Says, I have never watched a single episode of The Orville. Sometimes I wonder if I'm missing something amazing or if it is just derivative. Perhaps I am just too busy watching Star Trek to find out.
That's what I kind of discovered. I felt like when I watched a good bit of the first season of the Orville, and then I was like, you know what? I'd rather rewatch Star Trek than watch this.
Well, just so we were talking about Trantor and Coruscant, the home planet of Isaac kind of has that vibe too. This is Isaac's home planet. It has that like a planet.
Yeah, really.
Why
I
should
hope,
it
I
all
hope no giants fall
organics.
down there because they'll get.
But this
Get
this is
impaled.
kind of like what Coruscant looks like from space.
I was
so
thinking
it's-
like Krypton exploding because
Krypton
it looks
even.
like
Oh,
green
interesting.
kryptonite forming.
Oh, interesting.
I noticed that the producers of Orville know how to spell the word simulation. That's interesting.
What did they say on Discovery? Simultation or something?
So if we're talking about shows with merit, I mean, they can't even get their spelling right. So
In Star
Damn,
Trek,
DJ.
Star Trek, the original series, they misspelled environmental on a sign.
What did they say? What does it say?
well, it was
It
the
says, like,
'60s.
environmental or something like. Gene Roddenberry was like, "That's okay, Matt Jeffries. We'll just say that this means something different."
Back then they had to go all the way to the library to look at a dictionary, so they were like, "Fuck it, we'll just guess."
I don't know. I never
One thing that the Orville
at
gets right
any
is that,
point. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, one thing the Orville gets right that the Discovery doesn't is the internal volume of the ship. It's not cavernously huge.
And it has the characters are so likable. I mean,
Yeah.
I love all the characters in the Orville.
Kelly.
There's not one that. I'm like,
Ed.
Who's the dude? Roy.
Oh,
He's like he
Yaphet.
drives the
It's gonna
ship.
be Yaphet's last season.
Oh yeah, of
Oh,
course.
okay.
Norm Macdonald's passed away. Yeah.
Oh, that is.
What else is he in? Because I don't feel like I know him from anything.
Dirty
Norm
Work, the
Macdonald?
best comedy ever made.
Which one?
Dirty Work, film directed by Bob Saget.
Oh.
What else?
He's
It's
mostly
it's
famous
this
for
cult
SNL
comedy film
Father.
that you probably won't find funny, but
And one of
You
the
sh-
most
actually, if
recent- he
you
hosted
wanna-
that stand-up comedy show that Amy Schumer came from, Last Comic Standing. He was one of the
Oh.
judges for a little while.
he's known for his OJ jokes on Weekend Update.
That's
I
it.
never know
there's,
who any of
YouTube.
these comedians are. Like who's the dude who does
Father, you don't know the world outside of Star Trek. I've discovered this.
It's kind of true.
That's largely
That's why.
true.
That's why you're an expert on every episode that ever
I know
existed.
a lot of like
'Cause you've seen
Marvel
it a
and
million
DC
times.
comic stuff too.
You do.
Oh
that's
yeah, you're a
true.
big Batman fan. Yeah.
But yeah, I like Star Trek more than new. You know what I was doing in between the Text Trek stream and when I came on here while y'all were talking about Foundation? I rewatched an episode of Star Trek Voyager. I watched the episode where the ship splits in two and Harry Kim and the baby have to go from one ship to the
That's a
other.
really good one.
Whoa, I don't know that. What?
Do you know
what
they?
season is that?
Do you know they? Season 2.
Oh,
do you
how did
know
I
they?
miss that?
Because you haven't watched most of the show apparently. Like you fall asleep while it plays on Netflix. Like you said, like you haven't seen any episode with Naomi Wildman, and I looked
By
like
the
I know
way-
like
No,
you're after Dark
now I know.
Frontier.
By the way-
There's been like 8 episodes with Naomi Wildman.
It's
Yeah,
true.
but
Like
yeah,
that,
I
that you
wonder-
slept through apparently.
I think I'll finish Discovery before he finishes Voyager.
yeah.
Are
by
you
the
watching
way,
this?
I don't think he'll ever
That's
finish
cool.
No.
Voyager. He'll never finish Voyager because
No, I
he'll
gotta
always
finish
sleep
it.
through it.
I got-
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you haven't even seen all the ones up to the point that you think you're at though.
Do I have to
So-
start over? That means I have to start from scratch, right? Like
Let's
to
just
really-
start from scratch.
I just
no,
have to start from
you
the
don't
first
have to do that.
By the way,
just
by-
like-
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's
by the way-
technically old school Star Trek. You can watch any episode anytime. It doesn't really matter.
But this
Yeah,
this
my-
episode of Star Trek Voyager that I watched tonight, it has not
What's it-
one, not two, but 3 47s in the episode.
Oh my God, you. Do you realize we're just hearing this right at the 47 mark on the second countdown thing right now? Oh, right now it's
Surely not.
47.
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about.
For-
The second
number 47 just passed on the second counter thingy. On the second, yeah.
Before
Wow.
we lose Geek and Review, like the thing that broke the internet today was Russell T Davies is back
Yeah.
for Doctor Who.
Did it
That
break
could-
the internet?
I feel
could
like
not
it
have,
did.
That
I
could
mean, my
not have
internet's not
po-
working.
Pokemon One, man.
No.
My
I hate
internet
when
hasn't
people
been
say broke
working
the
for
internet
hours.
and it doesn't really actually apply.
Yeah, like
TJ's
that
mad
means
that I
that it
used
was
that.
like it like took over everything. Like that was like the only thing you could see on the internet, and like sites were
Russell T.
crashing.
Davies is in my house right now. He took over my house. Son of a bitch.
You told Stephen Moffat to fuck off.
This news shook up the nerd world. That's a good description.
It did.
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
because-
We'll use
I-
that
because
to-
I don't-
smaller
I
than
don't know
that.
who-
Smaller than that. It shook up the Who fandom.
Yeah.
I never knew who Russell T Davis was.
Oh,
Who's that? It's like
Davies, Russell T Davies.
Russell Crowe Davids, whatever his name is.
Well, PJ, you watched It's a Sin, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's him. The writer and showrunner of that show is Russell T Davies.
The guy who stars in the show.
No, he
No, he wrote the
made
show.
he wrote it, and that's why there's that Doctor Who scene in It's a Sin, because he's a huge Whovian, a huge Doctor Who fan, and he's responsible for bringing back Doctor Who. So he brought it back in 2005.
So how many?
Yeah.
When did he leave?
He left
2009.
9, in the
Yeah.
4th season.
And so
or
did the
series.
show go down in quality after? He
No,
left?
it actually got better. And
No, it got
went-
better.
It's
got-
debatable. I think it got better, but it got more weird. It got more
and
weird.
it got the highest
Doctor Who couldn't be
popularity
weird.
at that time too. The
Russell
next
T
showrunner-
Davies was more
yeah.
accessible, and then the Stephen Moffat stuff was more weird and sci-fi. But I mean, like, there's still like that fun, like whimsical fantasy sci-fi element to the Russell T Davies stuff. But it was
What
the way
was
that
the
the
first
characters are
Moffat season?
presented.
5.
I
first
always
Moffat
thought the show
season
was
was-
weird because
was
everybody talks
5
British.
with
Yeah.
That's the first
when they
Matt
bring in
Smith.
Matt Smith, yeah. But the thing with the Russell T Davies stuff is that he made, well, I mean, like the character Rose is a perfect example, but he was really good, like writing these very grounded, real world characters that felt very real and natural and easy to connect to and relate to. And even his doctors, I think Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant, both those doctors, they kind of feel more human, which is actually part of why I prefer the Moffat years. Because you take like Matt Smith or Peter Capaldi, and they're like those weirdos, like you feel like they came from another planet. Like Matt Smith doesn't really like understand romance, and he wants to eat fish fingers and custard. And then Peter Capaldi is all weird with his attack eyebrows and Sonic sunglasses and what have you. Like, whereas like Eccleston and Tennant, they're like these more like dreamy romantic figures, and they're kind of more humanish. But I mean, that's part of like the strength of Davies also, is that he was able, even like when they would do like period piece characters, like Madame de Pompadour or
That was a great episode.
yeah, like he like made her like, you know, you felt like she was like a real person you could relate to, or a bunch of other characters as well. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I think it's a little weird, like to like our friend Brian was saying earlier. So hell, remember when he was saying it's a little weird, like go backwards when Who is normally about like going forwards. But you know, Davies has been off the show for over a decade. He's had plenty of time to regenerate. He might have had like some new ideas he's thought of since then, and he did such a great job before that I think we owe him the benefit of the doubt. I'm cautiously optimistic.
It can't be any worse than Chris
Did they,
Chibnall.
did
Cannot
they
be any
cast a
worse.
new Doctor Who?
Not yet.
They
We
will.
still they
So
will
Nick
eventually.
Nick Muhammad is the one I was seeing like batted around.
Yeah, I
He's the guy
said
who
Well,
that.
took-
Davey, I mean, yeah, Davies isn't coming to 2023, I think, right?
Yeah,
he's not
yeah.
coming until
Yeah, because it's
He's
going to be
gonna-
the 60th anniversary.
Yeah, he's gonna produce the 60th anniversary special, and then
That's where we'll get our new Doctor.
But
Oh,
do you
yeah,
know who I'm
Doctor
talking about?
Probably,
Nick
yeah.
Muhammad from
from Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Somebody suggested him, and I was like,
I don't see him
Yeah.
as a Doctor Who, but
"Oh, I do."
really?
See
Is
about
he
about-
that's,
But I don't
that's
watch it, so I
a
don't
Muslim name, so I assume he's a Middle Eastern dude.
I don't know, dude.
Probably
Who's
Pakistani.
Nick Muhammad?
He's a British actor. He
He's
plays
in
yeah, in Fathership.
Lasso.
What's the name of the character?
He's
What's his
Nathan. He's
character?
Nathan.
Nathan,
He's
thank
Nathan
you,
from
Nathan.
Ted Lasso. The
As
short
Doctor
dude.
Who? Oh, no.
See,
I'm
Ruben
not down
agrees
with
with
that.
me. Not,
But
not-
I can guarantee
Why,
you,
who
it
would be a
ain't,
good,
it ain't
like,
going to be a
companion?
white guy. It ain't going to be a white guy Doctor.
Oh, is it because he's short? Is that why?
I don't know.
Doctor's
He's just
gotta be
short
tall.
and frumpy. Like, he's just kind of like...
That's
Like
okay.
Dumpy.
So is Sylvester McCoy. I feel like that's not the reason why. It's just something. I guess the character Nathan is so imprinted. I'd have to see him in something else.
Right.
I'd have to
I've
see him
seen
in
Nick
something.
Muhammad's
I would love to see
comedy
Gillian
festival.
Anderson as another female doctor.
I would love to see Gillian. Oh my gosh, that would like.
I would
and
actually
she's
watch.
technic-
I would actually
X-Files?
watch. it.
She's
I would watch
technically
it.
she's technically British too, right? Isn't she Scottish or
Yeah,
something?
she's
Like-
British.
Yeah,
She-
so
She switches accents depending on where she is.
but
Huh.
but she there's
The
like
code
a
switching.
there's an unsaid rule that the doctor has to be of British origins. So
Well, yeah, that'd be lame. It'd be like, could you imagine if they made like a British actor as Superman? That would just be terrible.
Or it could be the best thing ever. You don't know, Valerie. You've not seen the Snyder Cut, so you wouldn't know.
No.
I would like to see actually Idris Elba.
Wait, that's been a fan
Oh,
like a
okay.
fan hope is Idris Elba.
You
and
know
he
who
could
I
s-
said
he
a
could
long
still
time
totally
ago? Would
pull it
it be? I think he's too old and he's kind of too big now to do it. But a long time ago, I said that Hugh Laurie would be a great doctor.
Oh my gosh, that is a good idea.
A lot of people wanted him in the late 90s, I think, to do it.
Yeah,
Or Stephen
like,
Fry.
if you watch like his comedy stuff, like before he did House, if you watch like what was, Fry and Laurie, right? That was the name
Brian
of the show?
Laurie, yeah.
Yeah,
And Blackadder.
yeah, like he was like really goofy. Like he would have been like a goofy doctor.
Just
But he
to
could also have been like
recap-
an old grumpy doctor, like Capaldi.
Yeah. These are all the doctors so far, PJ, just to kind of recap Doctor Who. So the first doctor was this grumpy old man.
That's
Hartnell, William
He's the
Hartnell.
first. He's the first.
Well, technically, that
yeah.
wasn't the first if they're going by the new canon.
Well, that was the first
Oh,
doctor
Rachel.
though.
On
Like,
screen.
but he wasn't called the Doctor before that, right? This was the first one that was called
this-
the Doctor.
I just want
Probably,
to point
yeah.
out.
He
I
was the
watched.
gynecologist.
I think I watched Doctor Who from the first guy to the bushy-haired, curly-haired dude.
This guy. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's
He's considered to be the best, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
so
Tom
yeah,
Baker.
second
And then-
doctor,
and then
third
I was-
doctor,
Patrick
fourth,
Troughton.
yeah.
Was isn't Baker still one of the longest running Doctor Who's? Like those.
I
Doctors the longest?
believe
He was the longest.
Yeah.
He still is.
Yeah,
I believe
he's
so,
he's in more episodes than anyone
Now
else.
there's a difference between the longest running doctor, like the actor, and then the oldest doctor, the longest continuous doctor. And so Matt Smith seems to be the winner of that one. He's like 12.
No, he's like in universe. His character
In
was the
universe,
Doctor, the longest.
Doctor
But in
yeah.
real life, it was only
It was
3
Tom
seasons.
Baker. Yeah, and Tom Baker. So he still has the. David Tennant could have done it, and I think they said if someone was saying if Jodie Whittaker did another season, she could be the longest running Doctor. She could beat out. She could have beaten out.
No one wants that, though.
I
No,
I
no.
like her.
How would she beat out Tom Baker? She's only done 2 seasons.
Tom Baker did like 7,
Oh.
didn't he? Or like 6
She's done
or
3,
something.
hasn't
Yeah.
she? She's a, isn't we?
No, she's about to do her 3rd one, which is the same amount as Capaldi, Smith, and Tennant.
Oh, okay, my bad. Maybe the longest in the New Who. That's probably what I heard.
No, like
If she
they've
did
all
it.
done 3. Everyone in the new Who
I
has
thought
done.
Smith done 4.
Who did 4?
Tennant?
I think Matt Smith done 4.
No, he did. He did 5, 6,
Why
7.
Wait,
is John?
David-
why is John
David-
Hurt there? Why is John Hurt?
John
there?
He was the War Doctor.
Yeah,
That
he
was-
played the War Doctor.
Okay,
Nice that you
in
saw that.
between.
Did Richard E. Grant ever play the Doctor?
Yes, he played the Doctor in a special, a comedic special.
And-
No, sorry, and also he played him in a animated series called Scream of the
Rowan
Shaka.
Atkinson.
And wasn't there an '80s TV movie or something?
That's
with
this one, Paul McGann.
Back,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
No, that was
1996.
1996.
96. Yeah.
He was my first Doctor. That was the
It
first
was like Doctor Who
I
Saves
ever
Christmas
saw.
or something.
My first Doctor was the 6th Doctor, but Paul McGann was the Doctor that made me get back into Doctor Who.
Your first Doctor was the 6th Doctor? That
Yeah, I know,
sucks.
it's just-
You know,
that's-
get start on the worst Doctor.
I should just say.
Damn.
I-
You kept watching after that?
He informed. Well, I saw like a couple episodes of the 6th Doctor, and then I saw a ton of episodes of the 4th.
Okay, that
And
makes
the
sense.
second, and so Jamie's my favorite companion after Amelia.
Yeah,
Pond.
Jamie.
You'd-
Al, is that your favorite? Because he's a Scottish dude?
My companions. My favourite companion was probably Amy Pond, but not because she was Scottish. Just because I like Karen Gillan.
Amelia. She's so good. Amelia Pond's
Did I-
got such a good story.
So I want to create a Doctor Who companion who's from. He's like a cowboy from
Texas?
Texas from the
That'd be
1800s,
great.
and his name is Tex, and he has like a Sonic 6 shooter. And so like
That's
the
legit good.
doctor won't like shoot anything, but Tex could shoot
That's
things.
legit good. I think Tex should be a real Doctor Who companion.
Why isn't he called Doctor Whom? You think they'd get it right over there?
That's hilarious. We we got some more comments in the stream. Voyager is a great show to fall asleep to.
You know, Voyagers is either my it's probably my second least favorite Star Trek show, but I still have a good time watching it. Like I don't like all the episodes, but you know, like I was just watching that episode. Deadlock is the name of it, by the way. Y'all were asking, and it was, you know, like I could remember back when I was a kid in the '90s watching it for the first time, and I don't know. It's I was thinking about like, oh, like this is so clearly a Brannon Braga episode because of X, Y, and Z, and like, oh my god, I can't believe that there's 347s, and it was just yeah, like I just had like a better experience. I get a bigger dopamine hit from watching a average season 2 Voyager episode than I do watching, I don't know, whatever y'all. What's the popular shows now?
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, yeah.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
This Ted Lasso thing I hear is pretty good.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out a way for Father just to like.
I refuse to pay for Apple TV.
It won't
Plus,
make a difference.
But he
It
doesn't
won't-
mind
if you won't
stealing
watch
it,
it.
and we'll figure it out a way for him.
If
to
you
do
watch
that.
it, it won't bring you the same joy that an episode of Voyager that you've seen a million times will.
I do like other shows. Like I was really into Game of Thrones. I watched Breaking Bad.
I'm watching Breaking
what
Bad.
else?
I want to give an update.
I watched
on
The
Breaking Bad.
Expanse. Antonia,
Expanse is good.
what shows do I watch that ain't Star Trek?
Like you don't know.
He doesn't even know. Fun will commence now. Commence says Voyager has some of the best 2-part episodes and cliffhangers in Star Trek. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Oh, I like South Park.
South Park. Good show. Good show.
By the
who
way,
said
we were
that?
supposed
Was that
to-
Jeremiah who said that?
No, that was Fun will commence said.
Oh.
Voyager has some of the best 2-part episodes and cliffhangers in Star Trek. Is
With
that
the
true?
name, with the name like Fun Will Commence, you gotta be a Voyager fan. You know that's obvious.
That is
But
yeah.
I'd be curious to hear like what are those good two-parters. I know that
Fun
like,
if you're still on the
Scorpion
stream.
was,
Tell us. Name a few.
Dark Frontier was pretty good.
I don't remember. I can't
that aired.
remember
That
any of
wasn't a
them, whether
two-parter though. It aired as.
Oh, yeah,
one.
it was like
I
a
feel like
movie,
that was
yeah.
a good one. I feel like that. I remember. Is that the one with Unimatrix?
The Borg Queen.
Yeah, I remember. That is a good one. I like that one.
I thought they kind of tried too
Scorpion
hard.
and
with that.
Endgame are probably the only ones I can think of. Is
Yeah.
Scorpion one, or am I thinking?
Scor-
of
yeah,
another thing?
Scorpion's one, yeah.
You know what was crazy with Scorpion is that that was 1998, right? And I remember. Nay, 97. No, 90. What the fuck year was that?
Who cares? It's one of those.
Anyways, so I'm watching Deep Space Nine Season 5. Y'all remember how Season 5 of DS9 ends, right? Where they abandon the station and the Dominion captures it.
Yes,
And Jake
I do
stayed
remember that.
behind, and like Cisco is like, I can't turn around to go get him, and then you have like the Klingon bird of prey that Martok command, the what was it, the Roatan or whatever, and the Defiant, and they join that huge fleet coming back to the station, and Gul Dukat is on Deep Space Nine, and he has like Cisco's baseball, and he's like, this is a sign that he was coming back. And I was like, oh my god, I remember like falling out of the chair onto the carpet, staring at my TV, just like, whoa, my god, I can't believe I have to wait all summer to see what
I do
happens
remember
next.
that.
But then I was like, okay, well at least I can watch Voyager, and then so like
I
it
mean,
was
I
like
don't remember it.
a week
when
or
it
two
happened.
a week or two after that, there was the Voyager season 3 finale. And it ended with like, it looks like Harry Kim might die, and the Voyager is like teaming up with like this Borg cube because there's like these crazy looking aliens from Fluidic Space,
Oh,
species
I remember that episode
8472. And I was like, holy shit, what the like it ends with like Voyager like being hauled off in a Borg cube. I was like, oh my god, I gotta wait all summer for both these things? That's like the longest summer of my life.
Father, I remember hearing about it. I didn't watch either show that summer, but when I watched Deep Space Nine on DVD later, I remember I didn't have to wait as long as you did, but I remember being like all the feelings like of that ending. That was really cool. Yeah, it's true. But I stopped watching DS9 around 97, 98, so I love you.
But
That
anyway,
was
guys,
that was
I need to shoot-
97.
97.
I need to shoot off at the moment, but thanks for having me, as always.
Bye, Geek.
Bye.
See you on Sunday, bro.
Talk to you all later.
Yep.
Yep,
See
speak to
ya.
you later,
All
guys.
right.
Thanks.
Hey, good seeing
Bye.
you, buddy. Have
Yep,
a good one.
as always.
Yep.
Uh, Jeremiah says, I'm disappointed that... hold on. It's not coming up. All right. I'm disappointed they didn't give it to JMS, but this is back to Doctor Who, but I'm excited that I'll watch Doctor Who again. So disappointment with 13 writing so much lost potential. A lot of people are disappointed with the 13th Doctor, and it's not my favorite series.
Yeah, I don't dislike it as much as some of the people do, but like I certainly like this has been the least I've enjoyed modern Doctor Who.
Not a fan of Moffat era, made my brain hurt, and Matt Smith was trash to me. Wow, I love
Whoa.
that's my favorite Doctor
That's a little.
of the
What
new.
was
The
wrong-
Moffat,
what was
that's
wrong
what I'm saying.
with,
The Moffat stuff was weirder. The Moffat stuff got really weird.
It did
What
get
was wrong with Whitaker?
There's nothing
No,
wrong
I
with her,
think-
just like the
no,
writing has
I
been.
think-
No, yeah. Like,
I-
what did you
yeah.
guys not generally like about the shows? Maybe.
A lot of the stories have just been very dry, and then
Yep.
they went like really big, and which I was okay with. They have like these, but they did like this really weird explanation of like the Doctor's origin that some people had issue with. I actually was okay with it, but it didn't. It kind of underwhelmed me compared to when the Davies or Moffat stuff went really big.
The biggest problem I have with Jodie Whittaker's era is just I don't think like Chris Chibnall, the showrunner, is like hitting. There's just things like I was hoping. Like I guess I wait every time. Like every time there's a new Doctor, there's like a moment where you're like, yeah, the Doctor's like badass AF. Like there's a point that comes where like the Doctor does something that's just like extraordinary, or like that you're just like, wow, like that's insane. Like for me, I feel like the first instance of that for David Tennant's run was the Family of Blood two-parter. Like when that one just like blew my mind.
That
like,
was
that,
my favorite moment of
yeah.
the whole Tennant era.
Yeah, that was like an episode that blew my mind. It was like just like a moment where I was like, whoa, that's Doctor Who. For me, like for Matt Smith, it was pretty much from the start. Like I fell in love with that Doctor right away. For Peter Capaldi, it was the two-dimensional characters episode when he's freaking like, like you know what I'm talking about?
I name you the boneless.
Yes, the boneless, and he like does the thing. The TARDIS sends out that crazy like wave of like whatever.
That dude in that episode plays Cyborg on Doom Patrol now.
Oh, that's right.
Doom Patrol is really good, by the way. One of the top three best superhero shows on TV right now.
Now I
So-
know how my relatives feel when I used to like talk about Star Trek.
You're like Doctor-
What?
So for Jodie Whittaker, I'm still waiting for that moment. I just haven't felt the
Wait,
Doctor
right?
like for that episode of like where I haven't. I think she's a phenomenal actor, but I just haven't felt the Doctor like like that moment like where I'm like, oh yeah, that's the freaking Doctor right there, bro.
And why do they
Like,
have to destroy Gallifrey again? I thought that
yeah,
was dumb.
that too. Yeah, there's just like a lot of problems with it. So that's the thing. Like, I wish that she would go on because I think under Russell T Davies she would probably be amazing. Like, I think that's the thing is like he would give her that Doctor moment.
Russell
Yeah,
Russell T Davies would give us companions that actually we connect with.
Yeah, that's
And that's the thing. Actually, I like the companion. Yeah, I like the companions. That's the thing too.
It's
yeah,
like I kind of like them, but I never really love them. Like they don't get like the big moments either. Like they're all kind of interesting, but I kind of wish there was more sparks between them. I've been saying this from the beginning of the Chibnall era. Like y'all know how Star Trek the original series, like Spock and McCoy, how they like always had sparks. Like I kind of wish that like this new TARDIS crew that there was more just interesting dynamics between them and maybe some sparkage, and so they come off as so like white bread and kind of just uninteresting.
Yeah.
How do you understand what the people in that show are saying? Because they're all like, loppity dippity doo, croppity crip.
Loppity dippity doo. By the way, parentheses I is here. PE, hello, greetings everyone. Capaldi is great. Steven Spielberg had a British actor play. That's true. Daniel Day-Lewis is British. I always forget because he's such a chameleon. That
They all
Daniel
sound like
Day-Lewis.
chimney sweeps from Mary Poppins.
Chuck Apocalypse, you have the link. Come on if you can. The Doctor, it's strange. Ha ha ha. By the way, Chaka just finished. He just caught up with WandaVision and he loved it. So that's cool.
Neat.
Flashback to WandaVision. P says, I have a confession to make. I've never been into Doctor Who. That's
That's
okay.
okay.
It's called being normal.
Yeah.
Donna Noble is
Because
the best.
it is such. I'm not. That's not a knock. I have to explain myself. It is a
called
very
normal.
niche show. You really have to be into it.
It got really big though for a while, and it was weird to me because, like, to me as someone like who grew up in the '80s and '90s, Star Trek was always much more mainstream than Doctor Who. Doctor Who was like that weird foreign shit that only like the most hardcore geeks in America even gave a shit about. But Star Trek was fairly common. And then after like 2005 when Enterprise got canceled, like the exact same time Doctor Who came back. And I think because of Star Trek being gone, Doctor Who got bigger in America than it has ever been. And it was crazy to me to live in a time where Doctor Who was bigger than Star Trek. And so I'm not going to complain that things have course corrected and it's gone back to the natural balance of Star Trek being a much bigger deal than Doctor Who. And that was just like a weird phenomenon when people were like super into Doctor Who.
The
for a little
natural
bit.
balance.
I was more aware of Doctor Who before I ever
I'm sorry.
was Star Trek, and the weirdness of the show attracted me. Even gave me my first nightmares that I ever remembered.
I think it's a Canada thing, though, because you'll get a lot of British TV goes to Canada, right?
Well, we only had CBC, which was Channel 8, and NTV, which was Channel 6. So I pretty much watched cartoons on either one, but every day CBC would air an episode of like old Doctor Who. But then when we got more channels, Doctor Who was on like Channel 10 too, and there's different iterations. I never even knew it was a thing that went on for years until like much later. I just thought it was just some old, like black and white soap opera kind of thing because it didn't look like other shows. It looked really cheap. I even saw that. Well,
yeah,
but
it was kind of.
my mother would just like, oh, Doctor Who's on, and I would love the music at the beginning. Woo woo. I would, and for some reason, I don't know, like when I started getting into Trek, I completely lost interest. And I would see it on TV and I would watch it every now and again, but I would just like, no, this is not nearly as good as like TNG. But I mean, I did watch the when they rebooted it back, like what was it, like almost 20 years ago now? 15, 20 years ago when they
It's
first
been like almost
brought it back.
2005. It was right.
Yeah.
It was like this almost the exact same time Enterprise was being canceled. Like spring of 2005, Enterprise was wrapping up and Doctor Who was rolling out.
And I watched a bit of it, and then I was like, it's okay. But I don't know. I just can't. I don't find fault in the show really.
2005
I'm like one
was
of those
my
people who just
year
can't
of
get
high
into it.
school. Oh my god.
PJ, I've heard you say before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you have said before that you don't watch a ton of science fiction outside of Star Trek. That's kind of if you want sci-fi, you go to Star Trek.
90% of what I watch outside of Star Trek is non-science fiction. Raised by Wolves is the show that comes to mind that I watch currently.
In The Expanse, right?
The Expanse.
Couple quick
Orville,
comments.
Which is
And
kind of
And
like Star
Orville,
Trek.
I tried to watch Battlestar Galactica again.
And now you're gonna watch Foundation.
Tried to watch Babylon 5. And it's like a lot of sci-fi.
What about
I'm like
Battlestar-
Picard in Picard. He's like, I don't read that sci-fi
I'm not
stuff.
really a fan of sci-fi. Do you watch Battlestar Galactica, the new one, the reimagined?
I've watched the old one when I was little. I also watched V when I was little, which scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, that is
That's
scary when you're a
scary.
little kid.
Yeah, it's true.
But I did watch the movie thing before the actual series with Edward James, that whole thing.
And Robert Englund. Oh wait, you're talking about the Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Real quick to the comments because we got a couple piling up. So Donna Noble is the best companion according to Jeremiah. I think Earl Grey Trekkie shares the same opinion. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
I think
I think you might be right about that.
yeah. Blue Spark says LOL. I love Donna Noble. Let's see. Chakapocalypse says it's Alexa Fathery, not Antonia.
Antonia. Shaka told me it's Alexa Fathery, not Antonia.
That's like a long time ago when you asked Antonia that question. So that comment's been sitting for a while. It's funny.
I think he thought I was talking to a digital device.
You can name Alexa
She thought it
whatever
was
you
funny.
want, which is hilarious. And so Alexa can be computer. And I think, again, back to young Robbie, the Earl Grey Trekkie, he has his Alexa set to be computer, which I'm so jealous of. I wish Siri would let me call it computer.
I wish I could name Google Hello Computer. Because computer alone, you say that too often. But I wish I could just
Yeah.
be like, "Hello, computer. What's
You're
the
right.
temperature outside?" 'Cause
Like,
it's like
hey,
Scotty.
Siri. Yeah, it's true.
It's like Scotty in Star Trek 4 when they hand him the mouse and he's like, "Hello,
Hello,
computer."
computer.
Is the Radiohead album a homage to
Okay,
Hello?
computer.
Oh, that's Okay Computer. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Star Trek.
I don't know.
homage of some
You
sort.
know, like Tony Todd in that movie The Rock, when Nicolas Cage is like, "You ever listen to Elton John?" And Tony
I don't
Todd.
like
you,
that
do you remember what he
song.
said? Do you remember what he said
No,
back
I
to
don't.
him?
No, what did you
No.
say?
He said,
I don't
"I don't
like
listen
that
to that soft ass shit."
What?
So that's what I say when we start talking about Radiohead.
It is. I don't like Radiohead. Don't worry. But Ruben's a huge fan. The '90s two-parter and the Herogen Hunt one were both good, along with the
Oh,
Year
yeah.
of Hell. Those
Hey,
are all good.
if y'all like Year of Hell, y'all need to check out Text Trek number 104, maybe. I don't know. Let me look it up. But
I was like,
we
what?
covered Year of Hell.
Nice.
Let me find that for y'all.
I love your house. Oh, definitely.
Chuck Apocalypse says, "I wish Kim would have died in every episode. That, or I was hopeful he'd get laid." Wow.
How about a fucking promotion? That's a good idea.
Yeah. Poor thing.
Oh, sorry.
Shaka
sorry.
says, well, you know what they say when you add a woman into anything. I don't know what do they say? That it's better? I think it's better is what they say.
Let's talk music. Do you like the Elton John song?
Oh my God.
I don't like soft ass.
Hey,
That's hilarious.
guess what? It's Text Trek 104. Exactly like I
104,
said.
Gotcha. That's how did
God
you know
damn,
that?
I'm
That's
good.
crazy.
Is there a way to put it in the chat to the public chat?
Yes. Just give me the link and I'll post it.
Okay.
Put it in the private chat and I'll post it in the
Sure.
public
You
chat.
can listen to the podcast or watch the YouTube video. But last year, me, Brian, and Dave, for some reason, we really started to feel like we could relate to the Voyager crew in the episode Year of Hell. And so we decided to talk about it because it was a Year of Hell.
Oh shit, I pasted in the wrong place. Hold on. Here we go. Paste and send. Look, it's doing a highlight and it should look like a picture. Hold on, let's see if this works. This is a special StreamYards feature. I want to see what it looks like on the other end. Oh, it's saying it's like sweet time to post too. Anyways, hopefully it looks
I
pretty.
think you put I don't know, it's a weird look. Why does it say StreamYards in there?
Cuz it's oh, it didn't work the way. Oh, hold on.
Woohoo! Shout out to Doom Patrol.
Which we mentioned, your browser doesn't support StreamYards. Oh shit! I don't think that's the
PJ,
right
watch
thing.
Dark Matter. I don't
Hold
know
on, let me
if it's
undo
on
my
Netflix anymore, but it's good.
Okay, hold on. I'll get it in there.
Wait,
What
wait,
are you
wait.
doing?
I was trying to
Is that an actual link to the?
yeah, I'm gonna put myself
He
in
just
time.
invited everybody to the stream.
You can delete that comment.
No, it says StreamYards blah 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 text track. So-
Delete it's a link to get into the thing. Just delete it. Delete it right now.
All right, hold
Delete it before Shock Apocalypse
on. No one come
catches
on.
on and
Although
copies
Blue,
and
if you
pastes
want to
it
come on, that's
and
fine.
crashes your stream.
I have to actually.
You're gonna
sign
get
into
some
the stream.
fandom menace guy come on here
I
and
know,
wave
that
his
was
wiener
terrible.
around and get your channel taken down.
Shit.
Well, you have to let them in, obviously.
I have to like log into. Oh, that's true. Hold on, I have to log into the stream to delete it.
It's now 12:19.
Have you talked about Trekkie Dave tonight?
No, can you do that while I go?
You should tell your audience about Trekkie Dave.
What about What If?
We can't talk about it because I haven't seen it, but
I know we still ain't seen anything.
Is
after
it good?
The
It's the
Avengers
Thor
are being
one.
killed episode. Oh, cool!
you're
I love
only there?
Thor.
It's a meh one. It's like a okay. This is
It's
going
meh?
on. It's meh.
all right.
I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's not. It's not.
All right,
Serious.
while I
it's not a
figure
serious
out-
one at all.
Well, I figure out how to fix this.
The link is in there
link.
now, by the way.
Oh, okay. Hold on, let's see. You mean in the private chat or in the chat?
Hey, make
So who's
make me
Trekkie Dave?
give me a wrench. Give the Stephen W. Fothery account a wrench.
You're supposed to have a wrench. Hold on, I'm about
I
to
do on
it
your
right
main
now.
channel, but not on here.
Oh, okay.
Why are we passing around wrenches?
Yeah.
This
All right,
show has
first
come
thing-
to a
Spanners, if
halt.
you like.
All right. First thing I did is I redacted that one,
Grinding.
Okay,
halt.
you're good then.
and now it doesn't show your. I don't see your thing to approve. So I'm just gonna paste the link again. Hold on.
It's in there now. I'm looking at it.
You could see it, but I don't see it on my end to approve it. That's weird. Oh, but Father, you just say hi real quick so I can make you a wrench. Or I can scroll back up here. Here you are. There you are. Okay, I'm going to make you a wrench. All right. This is the boring
Don't worry,
part where
Marcelo.
everyone
These
leaves.
guys are almost done playing with their tools.
Yeah.
All right, now you're a wrench, Father. All right. Okay.
Cool.
So while Father does that, I'll keep reading some comments, which is let's see. Shout out to Doom Patrol. We did that one. Starfleet Boy After Dark. Here are a few Voyager 2-part episodes and or cliffhangers. Basics. Scorpion, Year of Hell, The Equinox, and Unimatrix Zero.
Does
Equinox.
everyone know which ones those are?
I do. I feel like I know all of those.
Okay. Do we need to explain them to the audience or just move on?
What
Yeah,
about
so-
the game?
Endgame? That's like a 2-parter? 3-parter?
Yeah.
3-parter?
The finale.
Two-parter.
It's a
Finale.
two-parter.
It's a twofer.
Blue says it's true about Doctor Who going big after Enterprise. That is true. My brother used to be into all the weird British stuff, not just Doctor Who, but also I love Red Dwarf and Blackadder. I love all those shows.
Yeah.
I
Your
used
brother
to-
must be an Anglophile.
Oh my God, I used to watch Red Dwarf religiously as a child. I was one of the it was one of the ones that I watched, and I tried to watch like the newer stuff. I'm like, I'm not into this. It was like, how does stuff that you love as a child just doesn't resonate with you when you're older? It's weird.
It can happen.
Like Inspector Gadget. I used to love Inspector Gadget.
Inspector
And now I watch him like
Gadget.
he's a bumbling fool, and he only gets by in the skin of his teeth.
Yeah,
This shtick
his
is getting
niece,
old.
Was
his
Matthew-
niece and his dog are 1,000 times more better at being like these agency operatives than Inspector
Penny
Gadget.
should get her own movie.
Yeah, what was the dog's name?
Gadget.
Gadget
No,
or,
no, I have
or,
no idea.
Gizmo?
Gizmo, Gadget. I think it's Gadget.
But Penny had this cool book
No.
that was like future
A
technology
computer.
or
Yeah,
some
it was,
shit.
yeah,
And
it
I
was
was like,
totally good.
it was.
Was Matthew Broderick a good
what was the
Inspector
name of
Gadget?
Inspector
No.
Gadget's dog?
On the website fandom.com, they say Brain is the dog of
Brain!
Brain. That's right.
And the bad guy was Claw. It was Peter Weller doing the Soundwave voice, but without the vocator. He's like, "I'll get you next time, Gadget."
That was Peter Weller, like in the cartoon. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. Oh wow.
I smoked too many cigarettes.
Shaka Blocko says
Damn
PJ.
you. I actually, have you ever seen the toy that actually reveals what he looks like?
No.
You know what Dr. Claw really? They never showed in the series when they released the toys. Like they had him covered, and you had to open it to see what he looked like. You can look it up. He looks like Rick from Rick and Morty.
Oh shit.
Hey,
I see it.
Let me pull up a picture of that. But hey, let me ask y'all this while we're talking about cartoons. Heathcliff or Garfield? Who's better?
So Garfield, Garfield,
no one
but
should
Heathcliff is
take
like a
her
close.
advice.
It's a photo finish, but Garfield wins in my
I'm
eyes.
Heathcliff all the way. Fuck Garfield.
Heathcliff for life.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I
Team Heathcliff.
Heathcliff was out first. Garfield is a ripoff of Heathcliff.
What? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah,
No, I didn't realize that. That's crazy. Are you serious?
yeah.
Garfield is a lazy, tired.
Wow, that is not what I thought he looked like at all.
Heathcliff, no one should terrify their neighborhood, but Heathcliff just won't be on time.
It looks like
Something,
he's having an
something.
episode of some sort. In this.
He's
Yeah, it looks
having a
like
problem
he
with
has
stream.
a brain
That's some bad
disorder
Taco Bell.
of some kind.
That's
There's
the face
something
you make
going on
after
there, yeah,
bad
that's true.
Taco Bell.
Shaka Paka says, PJ, watch Dark Matter. I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore,
I've
but
read
it's
that
good.
comment already.
Okay. It's now
weren't paying
12:19 a.m. You guys are neglecting us in the... oh, wow. No, we're... Damn, what
It's
time is it?
actually
12:28. That's not so bad. We're not so bad. Oh, good night. Good day. Jeremiah's leaving.
He
Bye,
said,
Jeremiah.
"Goddamn, Starfleet boy and crew, great stream."
Good night. Aw, bye, Jeremiah. Hope you have a sweet
Jeremiah
dream.
was a squirtle.
Was a good fan of ours.
See you later, Jeremiah.
Stephen Fothery is both high and bi.
Wait, isn't that you? Yeah.
Anyways, by the way, I got approved to get my legal. I'm a medical marijuana card, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited to try tinctures and CBD products, and
It's just a whole new
low-THC.
world has opened
It's a
up
whole new
for
world,
you.
yes. Not since Seattle. I opened.
You're
it
gonna
already
sing on
opened
a
up in
magic
Seattle.
carpet
Yes, I think I
after
might.
you've had a few edibles.
Fun will now commence says that sounded like Tony Todd. Yes.
Yep.
All right, we're
sure
caught up on
was.
the comments. What was the next thing? By the way, did your thing? It posted. See, it finally
Yeah.
posted. Yeah.
Oh, but I should share Trekkie a link to Trekkie Dave.
What
Yes.
happened? What happened with that?
Oh, PJ, you got mentioned. Okay, so Trekkie Dave is a Canadian.
I got mentioned.
Yes.
Where?
Yeah, on Trekkie Dave's.
I remember
one of
that
Trekkie
time
Dave's
John
videos.
Campia
Jimmy
said my name.
Fallon made a joke about you.
There's a
John Campia said my name one time on his thing. Somebody was like, "John, have you seen the John Campia rants videos somebody does of you?" He's like, "Yeah, I watched them with my wife, and she laughed her ass off, and I was really embarrassed." I think the guy's name was PJ. I was like, "Oh my god!" And like, it was stupid.
Oh wait a minute, you were behind one of those?
If Sylvester Stallone said my name, I wouldn't have been excited. I don't know why.
No, but
Who was it? Who was it who said Starfleet boy during Star Trek Day last
Jerry
year?
Ryan and a couple of them did.
Yeah.
Was it
they were
Michelle
all like-
Hurd?
Michelle
yeah, she
Hurd.
might, yeah. And the announcer guy was like, Starfleet boy, what a name. So Trekkie Dave is a YouTuber in Canada.
I just posted a link to his channel.
Oh, perfect. I love that you have a wrench now. There's a link to Trekkie Dave's channel. Please go subscribe in the chat. He's a YouTuber in Canada who was inspired by his late mother to create a Star Trek YouTube channel, and he's got some interesting insights on Star Trek. He's also, if you go to his channel, he's also very open about the fact that he's currently going through treatment for cancer, and like he's got this whole journey, so he's going to try to talk about Star Trek as much as he wants. Very interesting program, very interesting insights. He talks also from his mom's perspective. He like shares a lot of, she was very into Star Trek and she shared a lot of her ideas about Star Trek, so he's trying to relay them. And similar to what I wanted to do with, and what I kind of like hope Starfleet Boys, it's like a record of my thoughts of Star Trek with my friends. Like it's just like a raw record of like what we feel about Star Trek, and he's doing a similar thing with sharing his mother's views and stuff. And in his latest episode, or the episode before his latest episode, he shouts out a bunch of Star Trek YouTube channels, including Jesse Gender and Positively Trek and Kurtratz, and he shouts out Starfleet Boy and Tex Trek. Sorry, Tex Trek first, I think.
No, he says you were first. He says there's
okay.
He says there's Starfleet Boy, Boat
Trek,
Wreck, and Trek on the
Trek
Tube.
on the Tube. He shouts.
And then he
out,
said,
yeah.
and then for some reason he like made me separate. And then he said, and then the other guy connected to them. Oh, is Tex Trek.
But either way, we got shout outs, and he like watches our content, and it was very like I was super honored And so yeah, it's pretty cool. I look forward to his content, and we're all rooting for you, Trekkie Dave. So hopefully you do really well with your treatments, and you can continue to create content because we're really
Is he
would
on
love to see
Twitter
it.
or anything?
I was gonna ask him. I haven't asked him yet. Trekkie Dave, if you're listening to this, please let us know if you're on Twitter. We'd love to follow you on Twitter and give you shout outs.
Not only is a huge Star Trek fan, but specifically like an original series fan, but he also keeps up with like Lower Decks and Discovery.
Yeah.
But he has like a bunch of like really cool TOS merchandise. He shows off his nerd room, but he also has he looks to be like kind of like an old school like Batman and Superman DC Comics dude, and some Ghostbusters and Universal monsters. He's like really into like the old Universal monsters. So he's into a lot of cool stuff, and he has like some videos talking about like his favorite TOS episodes. A video talking about like Star Trek the Motion Picture. He's a big fan of, and some Universal monster movies. So I am so glad that I discovered Trekkie Dave, and yeah, I encourage people to check out his content. And we wanted to give him a shout out because he gave us a shout out.
Yeah, totally. Chuck Apocalypse also says I couldn't get Hayden Christensen to say Starfleet Boy because I would have had to pay him $175 for it. Wow, that's crazy. But what was he like in person? I'd like to know more about Hayden Christensen because I love him. Blue Spark says subbing now. That's awesome. Yay. All right, guys, you have to make it show for a little bit. I'll be right back. I'm going to get another glass of wine.
So
I thought he was gonna play the video. Which one was that? It was the one you sent in the link.
Yeah.
It's episode 1, right? Episode 1.
We
channel
could.
launch.
Yeah. It's 11 minutes long, but he's just kind of explaining his channel and kind of his reasonings for making content, and he talks about his mom some. Yeah, and
I guess we could play it, right? I mean, didn't
With
Starfleet
episode
Boy
2,
give you a ring?
this motion picture is better than you think. Talking about the first Star Trek film, and he has top 10 from the original series, and then episode 4 is 3 Universal monster films no one ever talks about. So it's a non-Trek thing.
yeah, and he just started within the last week, so
In the last 5
this
days, yeah.
Yeah, this is all stuff he's just uploaded. So he's been busy.
Well, I just subscribed. Subscribe to Trekkie Dave.
And it looks like Blue has subscribed, so thank you, Blue, for subscribing. I'll look on Twitter and see if he's on Twitter. I don't know if he's a big TOS guy. Sohel, when you get back, well, you're probably okay if I mention this out here, but maybe he would be interested in doing some of the Saturday TOS streams that we do on the main Starfleet Boy channel.
I think
he'll be a good fit
I
for
think
that.
Starfleet Boy, when he comes back, should play or like you can speed it up a bit if you don't want to watch the whole thing. But I'm watching it now. He's got some Wonder Woman, Batman stuff still in the packages. It looks like some old collectible stuff. Picture of a woman on a car. He's talking about his mother. He's got Revenge of the Jedi. He's got the Revenge of the Jedi poster.
Yeah, that's a collector's item.
He's a big Universal Monsters fan.
Y'all know the story of that, right? Y'all know the story of Revenge of the Jedi, right?
Yeah, it was all like, you gotta change it because Jedi don't take revenge.
Marcelo, you know that story?
I probably do, but tell it to me. I like the way you tell stories.
So originally, the third Star Wars movie was going to be called Revenge of the Jedi, and they'd already started making like merchandise and stuff. And Star Trek 2 was going to be called Star Trek 2: The Vengeance of Khan. And then they were like, "Oh no, we can't call it The Vengeance of Khan." Like 20th Century Fox like asked Paramount, like, "Can you change the name of your movie because we don't want people to get it confused with our Revenge of the Jedi movie. So they're like, okay, we'll change it to the Wrath of Khan. And then at the last minute, George Lucas was like, Jedis don't do revenge, so it'll be the Return of the Jedi. And so they changed it to Return of the Jedi. So we got the Wrath of Khan and the Return of the Jedi.
Huh. That's an interesting story, man. It's crazy how titles, how stuff and how different movie productions can influence, like how different movie productions get influenced by other productions that aren't even involved with them, and they, and they're concerned about their titles because they're concerned about how the general public will associate two different titles that have very, very little to do with each other, like from two different franchises. So I've always found that interesting.
Don't those sound better though, like the Wrath of Khan and Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, it sounds a lot better. But I don't know. I mean, my titles for my scripts are always a little off. So if any one of my movies ever gets made, I think I'll let the marketing boys pick my titles for me. For the most part, there's a couple of scripts that I won't allow them to change the titles of.
Some titles of movies kind of don't do it for me. Like, one of the best Star Trek movies is The Voyage Home, and I used to always think, like, such a lame, boring name. It made me not interested in the film at first until I watched it, and I was like, it's awesome. It should have been called like Star Trek IV: Turtles in Time or something more interesting.
Yeah, like the motion picture doesn't tell you anything. It's like, okay, it's a movie. I get it. Yeah. But then like 2 and 3, they tell you what the movie is about,
Yeah.
Like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Oh, Khan's going to come back and he's mad. Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. They're going to go look for Spock.
Yeah.
But like Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, that sounds kind of boring. I was like, okay, we found Spock. Guess we're going home now. Like, there's nothing like time travel-y about it or anything. And then like The Final Frontier doesn't make any sense at all. Like, this is like they were too lazy to think of something.
Yeah.
And then The Undiscovered Country, it's like the other way around. It's like The Undiscovered Country is like the Shakespeare quote about like the unknown, like the mysterious dark corners of the future is the undiscovered country. It's weird.
Yeah, The Undiscovered Country is my favorite Star Trek film of all time. It's The Undiscovered Country and then Star Trek 09. So those two films.
Star Trek the Undiscovered Country, I often say it is the spiritual ancestor of Deep Space Nine. Because it's darker, it's like a political thriller. There's a lot of like Deep Space Nine parallels. It also has Colonel West, played by Renee, who'd go on to play Odo. And it has Brock Peters playing Admiral... what's the bad admiral in that movie? But he goes on to play Sisko's dad, Joseph Sisko.
Yeah.
Admiral...
There's also Michael Dorn.
And then you have Worf in both. So
Admiral Cartwright.
Cartwright, yeah, thank you.
Admiral Cartwright.
Kurtwood Smith. Well, I don't know if he was in Deep Space Nine. I know he was in Voyager. But...
He was when they had that flashback to when Odo had all those Bajorans killed on the promenade. But it had like in the flashback it had like the old head of security on Deep Space Nine. It was that Cardassian, and it was played by Clarence from RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Yeah, but there's
Kurtwood
so many.
Smith.
Yeah, there's so many things about The Undiscovered Country that I love. I mean,
David
General
Warner.
Trang, everything about General Trang.
He is a great baddie. He's one of the best.
I'll say this:
has there been a better Star Trek movie villain since Chang?
In
the last 30 years, who is a better movie villain?
You could argue the Borg Queen, but I think Chang is just more classy.
Yeah.
And classic villain, and they haven't had that.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
in a movie anyway.
Yeah, for me, for my personal takes is Chang, and then Khan, but
And that's it.
yeah, those two for me. Uh, if I take out my bias for JJ, if I take that out, those two for me are the top two Star Trek villains.
And just to be clear, just the fact that Star Trek has two like standout villains is not like a knock on Trek, because usually they're not really dealing with villains per se. It's usually like a situation or somebody, some misunderstanding of some sort, or it's like they're more of an antagonist rather than a straight up villain. But when you get in like Khan and then like General Chang, it's like, oh, those are clearly straight up villains. And it's even like you look at Sauron in Generations, like he's bad, but his motivations is just like he's obsessed about something, and he's really not out to get people per se. He's not out for revenge. Who's the guy from Insurrection?
That's
Rafu, played by
Rafu,
F.
yeah.
Murray Abraham.
He's a weak generic television episode villain.
But I'll say
He
this
doesn't
about
work well.
him. He was the last time they tried to do something original with this. And I don't think he's a good character, but he is the last time they attempted to do something original with a Star Trek movie villain. Because every movie after that, they've tried to copy Khan. They wanted an angry dude who's trying to get... he felt like he was wronged in the past. He's trying to get revenge against someone. Shinzon, this angry dude who wants revenge against Picard. Just like... Khan wanted revenge against Kirk. Then we get to Nero, Star Trek 09. This angry dude, he's mad at his planet and his wife got blowed up. He wants revenge against Spock. Then we get Khan again. He's this angry dude. He wants to get revenge against Peter Wellers.
And you get Idris Elba.
Then you get Idris Elba, this angry dude. He wants to get revenge against the Federation, for what they did to his crew. It's just like everything after Ru'afu is a weak attempt to carbon copy Khan.
And even all the Next Generation films had like the villain of the week kind of vibe. And you know what? I think they're really afraid to do a Trek movie now without like a clear cut, like out of their mind bad guy who just fucking stop at nothing.
Yeah, they need, because it's like the
really
Marvel
tired.
movies. Every Marvel, maybe every Marvel movie, but pretty much Marvel movies, they're about the rise of a villain, and then like the hero has to rise to meet the challenge and defeat the villain, and that's the end of the movie.
And you know why Khan is such a likable villain? Because you feel his pain. Like you understand in that movie what he's gone through, and how it could drive an already kind of madman even like more mad to the point where he would laser focus on this, like, this revenge, this wrath that he's gonna incur.
And Montalban's performance is just magnetic.
Yeah, no, and if
that's true. It's like,
when
you love watching him say those lines. He just he bathes in the melodrama of it, and it's so pitch perfect. But anyway,
no, if you go behind the scenes of Wrath of Khan and find out that Shatner and Montalban never physically shared the same space together during the filming, that's even more remarkable that Ricardo Montalban could give that type of performance to basically a PA reading dry lines.
Yes,
it was.
Yeah. It was very good directing from Nicholas Meyer too. Who,
yeah.
He figured out you had to direct both those dudes very differently, and he's actually thankful they never had a scene together, because he said with Montalban always like came out of the gates like white hot, but then after that he would kind of like run out of energy. So with Montalban, you always tried to get like a really good first couple of takes, and then you were good to go. With Shatner, on the other hand, Shatner like didn't really give his best performance until he had done a few takes, and then like he was kind of getting bored with the material. And when Shatner gets bored, that's when he would kind of start experimenting. And when Nicholas Meyer figured that out, he would always shoot extra takes of Shatner to try, like get him to kind of like start messing around.
He would essentially irritate him into adequate acting. And there's a thing with William Shatner where he doesn't he wants to do it his way, and he's I've seen this many times, even that like radio ad he did where he's eviscerating the dude for telling him to say the lines differently. And he's
how
do I say them? And he's like, but I can see Nicholas Meyer like and I haven't exactly heard William Shatner talk about this, but I've heard about like some of the best Shatner material in Wrath of Khan is either Shatner to a point of frustration or irritation, that he does give that little extra like come on, like when he says Khan, that was
Khan! Sorry. Sorry, it's like
like the "Here It Comes" moment when they are doing the prefix
Here Comes
code.
Khan. That's excellent.
Yeah, that was because like Shatner had like done that take so many times, and he was just kind of bored with it, and he just did like that weird like "Here it comes, Khan," and so Nicholas Meyer saw that, and he was like,
"It's gold.
That's the take we're going with. That is awesome."
Fun says, "The Wrath of Khan is a much better title than The Vengeance of Khan." I agreed. I think I posted that too. Wrath of Khan is so perfect. You guys, that was a good conversation.
I like the original title. Khan Noonien Singh and the Emancipation of his 80s rock crew.
What? That's amazing. Generations.
We're the Dream Warriors.
Generations tells you what that movie is about in the title. It's true.
Does it though?
No.
It sounded like they kind of wanted it to be Star Trek: The Next Generation, the motion picture. And they're like, we need to shorten that down.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
They didn't want it to be Star Trek 7 because they wanted it to be kind of like a new thing.
Even though it is Star Trek 7.
I think they should have abandoned the Star Trek thing and did like a James Bond kind of deal where it was just
like the Dark Knight. Like it's not like they went from Batman Begins and then they went to like the Dark Knight. Instead of like Batman Continues.
I disagree, PJ. I think it should say Star Trek. Blue wants to know, what game is Ruben playing tonight? I actually kind of want to know too.
Is it muted?
What game are you playing, Ruben?
Well, I can't pause, so actually, Father, you will enjoy this. I'm playing DC Universe Online right now.
Oh, cool.
I'm whooping on Starfire's ass right now.
Oh, you must be a villain.
Oh, Cyborg is up. Yeah, I made a villain tonight.
I'm drinking Irish whiskey. It's Redbreast. Cheers, everybody.
Cool.
Cheers.
I haven't drank alcohol in so
Father,
long.
you're really not gonna like the new Batman.
The what?
The Samuel Adams.
I don't think I will. But I'll still
Sam Adams, nice.
Sam Adams. Yeah.
I'll still I don't know.
What is Father not gonna like?
Prepare
PJ?
for the worst. The new Batman.
Oh.
It's dark and gritty.
PE says, how about Paramount Plus create a new Star Trek comedy series, Chang and Chong, starring General Chang and Tommy Chong?
Whoa, man, that'd be a great idea.
Did Christopher Plummer die, or did I imagine that? He did,
No,
right? Didn't he die
he
recently?
Yes.
He passed away.
I forgot until just now. Wow.
I forgot too. I forget what people dying all the
He's
time,
Canadian.
actually.
His body's reconstituting
yeah.
right now, though.
He,
He'll be born again in
Shatner,
30 years.
Yes,
Shatner was
Shatner
Christopher
and
Plummer's
acting,
understudy.
Understudy in Shakespeare
right.
stuff. I know. They said they never worked together at all. I don't think.
Until
until Star Trek 6.
Star Trek 6, that's cool. Blue says, that blew my mind about no original villains. Seriously, is the next Star Trek film going to be great? Question mark. I don't know why I read it like that. Sorry.
Well, Blue, they almost went into production with the Noah Hawley movie. Like they were in pre-production. They were looking for locations in Australia. I think.
No, they had locations.
They had
and
locations.
They were ready to shoot.
They were ready to.
I don't know about casting,
but Yeah,
Like, there
yeah.
was
I
nothing
don't think
about
they had
casting.
finalized. I don't think they had signed any actors. They
But
were talking to people. I'm sure.
But they
But-
literally spent money to scout locations and actually do so like money went into pre-production, and then I forget the name of the woman who came in and said, "Nope, this is not."
The
because
new
it
head of
wasn't
Paramount Pictures.
Okay.
And the thing was, it wasn't connected to a previous thing. It was like too original or something.
Yeah, it wasn't.
What is that?
It wasn't
What's that
a
sound?
guaranteed. I think Ruben is typing.
That's funny. BJ's like, what is
but-
that sound?
The reason why I bring that up, Blue, is because that script would have been about it's weird now because of COVID, but it would have been about a space
virus.
pandemic that hits the Federation. And I don't know if it would have had a central villain. Maybe the villain just would have been the disease.
Real quick, Ruben typing is not as bad. Have you ever been on a stream with Trek on the Tube when he's looking something up? His keyboard is so loud. It's like, yeah, it's like that's exactly what it sounds like.
But that's not the reason that they stopped the movie. Because
No. Yeah,
yeah.
That's
They
one
said
of the
that
contributing factors.
They don't seem to have faith in ideas for Star Trek movies that are either original or like too Trekky. It's like that whole thing about the Robert Orsi script. I'd love to have known what that was about, like in great detail, because apparently it was too cerebral for Trek, even though it was too Star Trek for Star Trek. I don't understand.
it was going to be real time travel-y, though.
Blue says, I want a new, I think, motion picture type Star Trek. I kind of want that too. I want something that's like as weird as V'ger. Like, I want the V'ger type of mission, which is what Star Trek 4 kind of was like. Yeah, I just don't want it like to be. I want it to be about strange.
It's
weird stuff.
It's weird. I mean, I really don't feel like we need movies now with like all these shows in production. I'm enjoying the shows so much.
We
but
don't need
Fair enough.
I still would like one. I would like it.
There are multiple ones in production.
Yeah,
You
there's
guys
multiple ones that they're trying to get off the ground now, but I don't know what would you do in the movie, because you got to keep in mind, like, the movie has to be something that you can't do on the show. Otherwise, like, what's the point in doing the movie? Because there's something you can do on the show. The shows can do it better. I mean, Star Trek traditionally works better as a show than as a movie. So the movies have to do something like a little extra that you wouldn't be able to get away with on any of the shows. And I'm trying to think, what are the things
fully
that, like,
CG
we
characters
really
would
want?
be the main thing. You could actually, if you had, let's just say, for example, New Enterprise and Picard era. They just did a movie about that. Whoever the captain was, whatever. You could actually have a bridge officer that was a fully CG. What's that 3-armed dude from the animated series?
Eric's.
And
Yeah.
Eric's, yeah.
You could have an Eric's-like character.
I
Which you
would
couldn't
love
do in
to
a
see
show.
Eric's,
You could
yeah.
have him guest.
Yeah.
You could not have a sustainable, fully CG character be convincingly photorealistic. It would take up too much time and money for a TV show, but you can make it work in a movie, and that would be the advantage you would have in a film.
I agree with Fothery that I think Star Trek works better on TV at the end of the
Wow,
day.
we got a Ruben comment.
Oh, yeah.
He paused his video game.
Well, this was an interesting one. I just had to kill Raven. I had to kill Raven and help Trigon.
He's wiping out the Teen Titans.
That's right.
You are not. Wait a minute. You are doing what now?
That's right.
You are wiping out the Teen
That's
Titans?
amazing. I love when
That's
Ruben's
right.
like, I agree with Fathery
I'm
or
about to die
PJ
'cause I
or
was
whatever.
paying
Like, it's like, Ruben,
No,
are
I
we gonna
agree.
try? Go ahead.
It's meant
Sorry.
for TV,
No,
though,
go
isn't
ahead.
it?
Are we going to try what?
It's meant
No.
for that episodic format, and that's what I think Strange New Worlds will bring back to it. Anyway, go ahead, Ruben. Sorry, you were going to say something.
No,
Damn it, he's playing his game again.
No, I don't. I want to hear your thing before I tell you the I agree thing. I promise I'll tell you. Go.
Oh, no, I was going to say that I think Star Trek does, on the end of the day, work better on TV than movies. What I think you could do as a movie, they would never do nowadays because it's just the nature of the market of movies, where you'd have to do big, dumb spectacle. But you could do something like, I'm trying to think of a good comparison, of a trilogy of movies that involved kind of like a larger scope story that included Romulans and Klingons and like just a bunch of things at one time. I mean, you could technically do that on a TV show the same. The only thing is with movies, you could go kind of bigger with the spectacle. But I don't know if that's good for Star Trek. That's all I have to say.
No, that was good. Sorry, I kept sneezing. I don't know why.
I'm gonna be really sad if Strange New Worlds disappoints.
Don't be sad. Don't despair.
I'm
Wait
just
till
gonna
it
be
comes
like-
out. Wait till it comes out.
I think it has. I
Even
think it has
Ruben's
the
gonna
potential.
watch that show. It's true. He's totally gonna watch it.
Ruben's definitely gonna. Ruben's gonna hear how good it is. Hopefully,
He's gonna watch it.
Hopefully.
He's gonna either hate watch it or watch it like in sincerity. Ruben, the thing I was gonna ask
worried.
is, can we give a Star Trek Picard season 2 discussion a chance? Like, maybe not. Like
First
do you
episode.
Yeah, first episode. Do you want to try and have a discussion with me? No, you're not ready.
No.
You're still traumatized from.
I mean, I'm not watching season 2, so there's nothing to discuss.
You're not even gonna watch the first episode of
I'll be
season
here.
2.
Hell no. Season 1 was awful. Like, how bad does a TV show have to be for you to not watch another episode of it? I mean, I know you liked it, but I'm just saying for me.
Just to let the audience.
within certain fandoms,
I
you
don't
will
keep
tolerate
watching
a lot.
shows I don't like. Like, I don't know. It's just not my thing.
I do that with everything else but Trek. Trek, I feel an obligation to watch whether I like it or not.
That's what Marcelo was talking about earlier. Like that's what I think.
I don't
he's
feel that
saying
with
earlier.
any franchise.
See,
I'm a slave to the Star Trek Corporation, the CBS Viacom. They have my money. Actually, I don't. Really
I'm a
buy
devotee. I'm a lover. It's like when Star Trek presents something that I don't understand, I try to like force myself to like open my mind, expand my thoughts, and no, legit. And Discovery challenged me like that. I feel like I know Ruben. Please don't laugh at me too much. But
Let me mute
Discovery.
myself then.
What's
This
that?
is the fourth anniversary of Star Trek.
Yeah, it
Discovery,
is.
By the way.
And Discovery challenged me like that. If you go back and watch the Starfleet,
Is it the 24th?
Yeah, today
No,
was.
it was.
It's the 25th
It was.
now.
Oh, it's Dave's birthday in 2 days. His birthday is
And-
the 26th.
Jim Henson's birthday was
Yes,
yesterday too, by the way, and we didn't give him
um,
a nice little happy birthday, Jim Henson, who's amazing. Ruben, Star Trek. If you go back and watch Starfleet Boy, like early episodes of Discovery, like I'm having a lot of trouble understanding Star Trek Discovery. It's like a struggle for me to like accept it. But now, I get it. Like I move past a lot of things, and I love the show. Like it's not not everyone has to have that experience, but for me personally, I get it. I get what Star Trek's trying to do. I love it, and I'm all for it. And Star Trek Picard was just like heaven to me. It was like, oh my gosh, like every second. So but I see where you're coming from.
I
too.
really
like,
liked Picard season 1.
You've got a lot
Yeah.
of comments there.
Oh shit, we should go to comments. Okay. I heard there are 3 movies planned, Blue was saying, which I think I saw something about 3 movies being like announced, that there might be 3 movies in Star Trek, but I know there's at least 1 movie that they've announced.
There's multiple. The guy,
The word
the
was
new
multiple.
CEO of Paramount. He's the guy. He's CEO of Nickelodeon, and now they're putting him in charge of Paramount because this guy understands TV, and he is promising to be geared to making content that not only will do well at the box office, but he also wants to collaborate with Paramount Plus. What I'm thinking, y'all know how like HBO, they're trying to do like all like these HBO Max spin-offs of Warner Brother movies. Like there's that Sisterhood of Dune and PJ, what are like the DC they got Peacemaker and Batgirl, and now Supergirl just got announced. That are all tied into their DC EU. And the Gotham one, the Gotham Police.
The Gotham Police Department is the Batverse exclusively, as well as the Penguin prequel.
That'll be. Oh, okay. I didn't know they were doing a.
They're doing kind of what Sony's trying to do with Spider-Man. Sony's been trying to build a Spider-Verse, so they're waiting for the day.
But they don't have a streaming service.
Yes, but they're waiting for the day when they can take him back and just have him like fight Venom and stuff. In this way, with the Batverse, they're separate from the DCU with Robert Pattinson. They're actually creating what seems to be something that's not connected to any other kind of DC property.
Yeah, it'll be an alternate Earth, which is an idea that they've already kind of introduced to the mainstream. But I think the new Nickelodeon CEO dude, who's now the Paramount CEO dude, he's going to try to do something similar with Paramount Plus. So I wouldn't be surprised if like if there's a Marcelo, if there's like a Mission Impossible spinoff about like Simon Pegg's character or something. I don't know. I haven't seen the
Well,
Mission Impossible
yeah,
movies
wow.
or
I
something
mean,
like that. But like
Disney's
or
doing
Top
that with the
Gun.
Marvel shows. I mean, they're actually for the first time. What was it? Starting with WandaVision, are making shows that are like you could say the Shield, but I don't count that. You could say
Paramount should
Humans,
be
I don't
milking
count that.
the fuck out of Mission Impossible. I don't understand
Yeah,
why
hello.
they haven't
Well,
tried making a TV
yeah,
show
There's a
based
problem
on
with
Mission
that.
Impossible. Yet.
What it did, Mission Impossible was great on TV, right?
Yeah,
Like it
you
was
wanna-
the original.
It's literally a
was so
franchise
good.
that started on TV, and they
Yeah,
haven't tried
yeah.
to make another TV show.
The biggest problem with Mission Impossible is its best is the reason why it's so damn good right now. It's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I
That's-
think there's probably
that's
some
the
truth
biggest
to that.
problem.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to use him on the show, but you could get the other people.
You could,
Those
yeah.
other guys would for like a big prestigious streaming show, they would show up.
Yeah,
Like Henry
yeah.
Cavill and Simon Pegg, and who else is in those? Someone else.
Yeah,
Well,
Rebecca Ferguson.
spoiler alert: Henry Cavill doesn't survive the last movie.
Oh
Well,
no, he does not.
Thanks for spoiling that.
Sorry.
I was gonna watch those.
Well, he's
someday
the
when I get
villain.
around
What do
to
you
it.
expect?
Fathery.
You expect him to live?
I didn't mean to do
Come
that.
on.
I'm sorry.
Fathery. It's a statute of limitations.
I don't believe in that.
Smart Smears, who is also, I first saw you on Text Trek, so thanks for tuning
Hi,
in.
Smart Smears.
Says, I feel if a Star Trek movie came out now, they changed the name. Seeing as Star Trek Enterprise was almost just called, I think it was
It actually
called
was.
Enterprise.
It was
Was
called
called
Enterprise
yeah.
for 2
Oh.
years, and
And
then
then they added Star Trek.
UPN. Yeah, UPN said, "Fuck this shit. No one's watching this show. No one knows that it's Star Trek." Put the name Star Trek in front of
You
it.
gotta,
actually-
you
it
gotta
actually-
brand it.
It actually tricked non-Trek people into watching it. And
Yeah, like
some
your
liked
cousin.
Oh, no way! What?
PJ's cousin
PJ
watched
did
it
tell
because
that.
he didn't
Yeah,
know it was Star
I'm
Trek.
like, this is a prequel to Star Trek. He's like, what? And he threw up, and he like.
The first episode, they're like, the Vulcans are telling us this thing's called a Klingon. Like, we better get on our ship called the Enterprise. Like,
But-
how do you
but-
not know that's Star Trek?
Actually,
It makes sense to
You
me.
would be surprised at how many people have no idea what a Vulcan
Yeah.
or a fucking Klingon
Yeah,
is.
or Klingons.
I remember this one girl. I was talking with some guy about Star Trek, and the girl, I don't know why she was a reporter. This was in City Hall, and she was like, "Yeah, Kirk, yeah, from Star," and she started talking about Star Wars, and I'm like, well, they're not the same thing, and they're like, "Yeah, it is," and she was like confident that they were both like the same thing, but like one show was called this and one like they were interconnected. My mother also thinks the same thing. She doesn't know the difference. Like people just who are on don't pay attention just don't know.
My
things.
sister doesn't know, like, Star Trek or Star Wars. If you asked her, like, hey, which one does your brother like? She'd be like, I don't know. I think the one with Yoda in it.
The Star Trek. Yeah.
This is what I was talking about earlier. See?
Blue said, well, but Marcelo, it's a little.
A little different. I'm sorry.
No, I was
here's
just gonna
the-
say it feels a little gatekeepery to say like people like us. That I think it was a trigger for me, and
sorry.
like
I'm
I just
sorry.
don't. No, don't please don't apologize. I also get.
He
what
was
you're
kind of
saying.
right though, because
Yeah.
mainstream audiences really like Discovery. The people who bitch about it the most are people who are like Star Trek fans.
Where do you get this idea that mainstream audiences like Star Trek Discovery?
Because I've read TV reviews and critics really liked that show. My friend Randy, who's not a Star Trek fan at all, he's a TV critic. He considered Discovery like the best Star Trek show ever. Like he's like, I could never get into like stuff like Next Generation or Voyager. It was so boring. But like this show, it's so modern and cutting edge, and like they're not afraid to embrace diversity, and it's such a sleek looking, well produced show, and he just raves about it. Like he loves it.
I will just say that like more people like in general I'm a pretty social person. And like more people talk about Star Trek Discovery than I've heard talking about Star Trek since like Star Trek 4 or whatever, like around like that. Like it's
since like
Discovery has a
since like the
wide
Next
appeal.
Generation peak. This is like Discovery's and it's not even like my favorite show. It's out of the modern shows they're making. It's my least favorite. I still like it, but it's my least favorite. But it's definitely like the hottest commodity that Trek's had in a long time, as far as what's on the mainstream radar.
Do you think there would ever be enough confidence to make Discovery the movie? Because, I mean,
I
the
hope
films
so.
traditionally followed, like, it was a spin-off of the TV show, like
I don't know.
TOS and then
I-
TNG.
I don't think they want to continue that tradition right now, because
It's not viable.
It's
Yeah,
a weird Star Trek's in a weird place because the fans that are kind of like grew up in the TNG era want to see films about Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and TNG. So they want to see like I think someone mentioned. I think it's PE. We'll read this comment. I would like for a new Star Trek movie to be a huge crossover series incorporating characters from multiple different Trek shows, all interacting with each other. There's like a longing for a unity Star Trek. In fact, speaking of Trek on the Tube, who I did insult earlier by saying I always take a jab at him. It's true, but even Trek on the Tube came. There's this like desire for a unity Star Trek film. I don't know what it is. I'm not interested.
that
in it
needs to be the
particularly, but-
1000th episode, and they'll do that as a show. That needs to be
Like,
on
it's
Paramount
like-
Plus. I
but
think the movies are all going to be new audience friendly. I think we're either going to get Kelvin movies or movies that are just new audience friendly.
No, don't say that word.
Kelvin, did somebody say that? So my ears just perked up. Did somebody say that? Sorry.
And I don't
Okay,
mind
I'll
the
shut up
Kelvin movies, but I would prefer them not do anymore because I would just rather keep stuff in the prime timeline. I think Star Trek Beyond's a great ending to that trilogy.
I personally think that Star Trek: The Next I've been saying for a long time that Star Trek: The Next Generation needs like a sign-off film like Star Trek 6, like how that was for the original
But that's what
series.
Nemesis was.
Well, no, I don't think it was, Father. But I do agree now with PE's comment that I think the whole TNG era needs a sign-off film.
They're not going to
They
do
need,
that though. That's like
like-
Picard.
what
That's
is
all
Ruben-
TV
what are
stuff.
you-
That's streaming. That's
Ruben's
streaming
expression.
stuff.
No, like a film. Well, I guess Picard is kind of doing this, but like my dream was to have a film that like where TNG cast can just like retire their
But you're not going to
tenure.
convince a room full of investors that's
I realize
that's
that.
worth
It's such a
worth
shame
taking
you
up
were
a
never a Power Rangers fan because they
I
sort of
didn't-
did
that's
that
true.
with like the 50th anniversary. They brought all the Power Rangers. Into
Wait,
one
Power Rangers have been
gigantic-
around for 50
they need
years.
to do that.
Hell yeah, baby!
50,
Power-
50?
and going 60, I think now.
They
What?
need to do a big
Yeah,
they
Power
need to
Rangers
do a
is
big
fuck,
end
dude.
game crossover with Star
I don't
Trek.
think
But it
Ruben is
it needs to
accurate.
be on TV. It needs to be
Power
streaming.
Rangers, I mean, I don't know exactly
Okay.
how old it is, but Power Rangers is old as hell. Like
It started in the United
old.
States in '93, I believe.
Yes, and in Japan it started decades before that. Or a
No, there's a lineage of I forget the name
This
of
is
it, but
interesting.
Power Rangers type shows, and you
Yeah.
go back and you go way back, and there's like a
Yeah, there's like
a
Kamen
Power Rangers
Rider,
type dude,
there's-
but they were different shows. It didn't the
Right.
Power Rangers thing
The
in Japan.
franchise.
The Power Rangers thing in Japan didn't come around until the late '80s, and then they used that '80s footage in the '90s TV show, and then they
Yeah.
continued to do that. So every time the Japanese show would change, the American version would change and hire new actors, and like they would follow
the
that formula.
Japanese version, which is called Super Sentai, started in 1975. which
Yes, but that's
Power
not Power Rangers.
That's what Power Rangers is based on. Kamen Rider,
That
all that stuff.
All right,
Power Rangers eventually evolved over decades.
I definitely-
from that, but there was like in between Super Sentai, there was like a bunch of different things in between that.
There's always been
The actual
different-
Power Rangers show, as used in America,
America, 15 years. What is it? 15, 30 years? 20 years?
It's 30.
That's still a lot of
20
shitty...
28
They
years now.
they probably did a 25th anniversary.
Oh my
in like
god.
2018.
Power Rangers is that old? Like it came out
They
like
did do a
25
25th anniversary thing. I think
Okay.
where
Holy
it was really
shiitake
bad,
mushrooms.
and they should never
There's
do that. With Trek.
28 seasons and 21 different TV series.
No.
3 movies.
No.
Yes, it's crazy.
No,
They
no.
never stopped making it in Japan.
Oh my gosh. what
or
is happening?
here, for that matter.
But the Super Sentai thing has been around. Yes, that has been around
for a lot.
long
Darren,
Old as shit.
Darren says this is why. So I was actually excited about the Tarantino Trek. Like I was legit excited about it. This is why a Tarantino Star Trek movie would expand Star Trek movie horizons. I agree.
Well, that was going to be a Kelvin movie. That was going to be.
It doesn't
set
matter.
on
It was
the...
a missed opportunity. I think bringing an auteur filmmaker into Star Trek would have been a really.
I don't think he ever would have directed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Still, if he wrote it or had anything to do with it,
he
I think
didn't.
it'd
They
be
hired
more
that guy who wrote The Revenant to write it. It was just based on his idea.
Whatever.
It's not going to happen. It's just
Tarantino
I don't
Trek
think it's
is
gonna
very
happen.
compelling, though. I'll just say that.
I want to see.
it would have been
Denis
neat to
I want to see
see,
Denis Villeneuve
Oh,
take on.
yes,
Trek.
I would love that. Oh my god.
But he
Yes,
would probably
actually.
be like, he would probably watch Discovery and be like, this is just copy and paste. Explosion mean nothing to me. But I'll do that in my movie Dune.
By the way, I listened to the score for Dune, and I was having orgasms during it.
I gotta go.
Like
Right?
no,
I gotta get
legit.
outta
Like
here.
the
See
music
you
had a
later.
like physical. What PJ? PJ. PJ, like
Right.
this. Come on,
That
Father, you
score-
also left.
That's
All right,
not-
I'm not gonna
that
talk.
score-
I'm not gonna
I'll-
talk
no,
about
I'll
my.
talk- No, I'll talk about the score with you. I won't talk about your orgasms, but I'll talk about the score with you.
It's beautiful. It's a great score.
Yeah, I've been like my favorite track on my favorite track on the score is House of Atreides. The way that Hans Zimmer uses drums, bagpipes, so amazing. It's so unbelievable.
It's a very good score. I highly recommend. If you're into listening to scores before the film comes out, go listen to it. It's good. But also the sketchbook that Father was talking about. Did Father and Peter? What are they doing? This is really annoying. Whatever. Deuces, guys. We're just gonna go back to the comments.
Yeah.
Marcelo, did you listen to the sketchbook thing?
The sketchbook.
So, if you type in Hans Zimmer Dune, there's a sketches like that he did before the score was released, and it's just like inspirational type stuff that like it's just like rough music.
Oh
but
yeah.
It's also gorgeous, and it reminds me a lot of the Toto. Some things that the Toto score for the David Lynch Dune tried to do. So yeah, we'll do a whole special on Dune when Dune comes out, but we'll talk about the music more then. Darren said, "Oh, we already talked about that." Smart Seer says, "I'm foolishly 90% confident Strange New Worlds will be good." That's not foolish. I think that's legit good.
No.
I mean, even Ruben.
Don't
talks
don't
about-
set your expectations too high.
Don't
Just like
do that.
I think
You're gonna get crushed. Don't do
the
that.
things to be excited about are like the guaranteed things. Like if you like Ethan Peck as Spock, like you're gonna get like a lot of Spock. If you like Anson Mount as Pike, you're gonna get a lot of Pike. Those are the things that like
If you like Rebecca Romaine, you're gonna get a lot of her.
and not just like with the casting, but just like
and
like the
just
format.
like
the episodic
promise-
stories.
the promises of like an episode, and even Ruben's excited about it, which I can't wait to hear what
No, he's
Ruben
not.
thinks. He's so
Why?
excited.
Why?
When did this happen? When the hell did this happen?
Every week on Starfleet
I'm
Boy.
excited for any show that hasn't come out yet because I always hope for the best for any
that's
show.
nice. That's very sweet, Ruben. On Starfleet Boy Actual on our TOS discussions, Ruben always manages to say, "Well, on Strange
What episode is
Worlds,
tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Bread and Circuses."
Okay.
Well, if they're gonna stick to the
We're almost on
episodic
season 2.
television, and Star Trek does, for lack of a better term, recycle story ideas, premises. That's okay, Stranger Worlds has a lot to draw from with TOS.
Absolutely. Fun.
Do I believe they're gonna do that? No. I believe people's eyeballs are gonna get ripped. No, I don't know.
By the way,
it
guys,
looks like a different vibe.
if you there's 2 episodes. So when Star Trek Picard came out, I loved it so much I did sometimes 2 and 3 streams just about each episode, which was insane. I'm so sorry anyone who goes back and watches that. It's
I've
like
watched all those.
thank you,
I've watched
Marcel.
all
Thank you.
those.
All of them?
So
All of
I would
them.
do a discussion with Trek on the Tube, with Ruben, and with the Doctor whenever he was
He
available. It
did
was
5
like-
with me, only 5.
I did, like,
Remember that?
No, actually, no.
First-
That's the
First 5 episodes.
but on
No,
the
that's
very
the funniest
first
thing.
Ruben's not on the first one. The
No,
first
the
one's
first
just
one
you
is-
and the Doctor.
me and the Doctor, and I'm in the full Starfleet boy, which is like no, I've shaved my head and I'm wearing no hat, and
Yeah,
so I
that's-
plan to do that just so you know. Again, for Picard season 2, I will be in the full Picard. in
Hey,
the full
when I'm on
Starfleet
the
boy.
when I'm on the cruise, you're gonna have to host the text track that covers a Picard season 2 episode.
Oh my god, I'll talk about 4 times that week. That's gonna be insane. It's gonna be great. I'm so excited about Star Trek Picard season 2. Terry Matalas, the showrunner, keeps posting like little teaser images
Yeah.
from
Easter eggs, yeah.
the show, and nothing that tells you anything. It's just like very authentic looking sets and designs from their era, their specific eras, and that to me is just like a
think-
delightful thing.
I think secretly behind the scenes, he's like, "Oh my god, this is gonna ruin my career. This
No.
is so bad. I messed up, man.
No,
I
he's
messed
a
up good,
huge-
man.
No,
He's a huge
I think we're gonna have to
fan.
call my sponsor, man.
no. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's a
Time travel?
Voyager
What was I
alone. He-
thinking? It's
he
such
cut
a
his
tired
teeth.
trope.
no, I don't
He
think
cut his
so.
teeth on Voyager back in the day. But I was actually I don't like that it's someone else running the show instead of Michael Chabon because I was so happy with season 1 and I really
It's
liked a lot
actually
of
pronounced Shaban, but whatever. Go ahead.
Chabon. I always say it like
Chabon.
what's the Romulan is Zabon with like a Z.
Shaban.
Yeah.
I always
It's
just
like-
say it like that with the CH.
Laris
But
and
Chabon.
Jabon with a Z.
I really liked a lot of his
Take
his approaches to writing Star Trek. And I know like season 1 was more of like a group effort. And so I kind of wanted to see what would a season 2 be like with like less cooks in the kitchen if it was more of just like his vision. But I understand like he got like this offer to go do like his own show based on his own novel and he's going to make a lot more money off of that and it's probably something he's super passionate about. So I understand him doing that and so
What is that? The Adventures of
The-
Cavalier and Clay or something?
yeah,
The
which
only
I don't know much
disappointment,
about, but
if I had to confess to a disappointment, the only disappointment with Star Trek Picard season 1 is some of the visual effects. That's it. The only thing. Like
I thought the effects were good.
no, they're fantastic, but like when
Deja
I
vu.
see what Terry Matalas is putting out, I'm like, oh. Like the it's exciting because like
Oh.
I'm like what I'm saying, like they're not recycling like Discovery set. Like the Genkai was the Discovery set and there were no the cut and play.
Well, it's because they had to shoot that in
I get
Toronto
it.
when
No, I get it. 100%. I'm like,
Jonathan
I'm
Frakes
not,
was up there
it's
directing.
not like a complaint in a huge
But-
way. Like
Well,
I'm just saying, like if
production
I
stuff,
could
the
improve-
art design,
yeah,
the
if
art.
I,
You're comparing it to season 2, and you're saying like the art design looks better in season 2.
it's
is what you're
already from
saying.
these little teases. I'm seeing that like
That's
season
Doug
two's-
Drexler. That's because
Yeah,
Doug
that's
Drexler's
why,
on there
yeah.
now.
It just feels like it's gonna look like more like what we've seen in the past, but updated. Like what I mean? Like it's not gonna feel like, oh, that's odd. It's not gonna feel like that jolt of like, oh, that's a copy paste fleet, or
Yeah.
like, oh, that red alert looks just like the one from. It doesn't fit this era or whatever. Blah blah blah. For the nerds, like people like us, as Marcelo.
But I felt
was
like
saying.
Picard season 1 had like the when you see like the L cars on Picard's replicator or like everything in the quantum archive, a lot of that stuff looked right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's just like minor disappoint. If I had to confess to disappointments, it would all be in the visual elements of Picard. None of the story I'm disappointed with. To me, as far as I'm concerned, like the story of Picard is like it's superb. It's excellent.
The only thing
That's
I
why
didn't
gave
like
it
in
all 10.
season 1 was I thought the finale was flat.
I think it deserved like 2 more episodes. Like I feel like if we had 2 more episodes to tell that story, like it could have been even more interesting and compelling. If we spent a little more time on Coppelius, if we got to know Soong a little better.
No, I don't know. That wasn't my issues. I didn't need more of that fleshed out, but I just thought like the reveal at the end was a little underwhelming. With like Synthulu, as people call it. You know what I think would have made that cooler?
I see what you're saying, the admonition.
You know how like they're gonna choose to like kill the organics to like save the synths, but then like they decide, they were gonna like bring in the Synthulu to kill all the organics. Yeah. What would have been cooler is if they actually like decided not to do that, and then when they stopped broadcasting Synthulu, that's when like this like alien intelligence beams down and was like, oh, that was just a test to see if you would artificial life forms
I love that.
would actually be committing genocide, and because you weren't, we we'll make first contact with you or whatever.
That's exciting.
That would have been such a cool
fathery.
Twist.
Oh my god!
That if
even
Ruben, if they knew what they were
it's...
doing with that story, they probably would have thought of that and been like, "Wow, this is a more interesting."
That's very cool, Father.
There was some weird thing that they were doing with season 2 of Discovery and Picard with this control and then synthetic Cthulhu stuff. It seemed like everything was kind of connected and they were building up to something, but then it turns out like no, it's just they just kept
derivative
repeating
ideas.
Derivative AI bullshit. That I mean,
the other problem is that stuff's like scary in real life, and what I feel like that's something that we need to kill the AI before it like takes over. Like it's a legit real thing that's happening. Like,
but we all grew up in the Y2K stuff, right?
You want to kill Data?
No, not Data.
But we grew up with all that shit, man. We've been hearing about like the computers are going to take over our whole lives since Terminator.
I've been waiting
Terminator
for
2,
the singularity. It's true.
Since Y2K, since all of this stuff. To me, it's like I've heard it so much. It's like if it did happen, I would never see it coming.
Legit,
I just don't buy it or believe it.
Legit, Father's take was really good. I would have loved that.
They didn't need to do that back to back. Season 2 of Discovery and then season 1 of Picard. But on the other hand, I did like season 1 of Picard more than season 2 of Discovery. So I wish that Discovery season 2 would have been the one that did something else.
Fun Will Commend says, I will reserve judgment about Strange New Worlds until I see how they actually execute the ideas. Cool. I think I'm doing the same thing, but I'm very hyped for it. I'm very hyped.
Yeah, that's the one I'm most looking forward to. But like again, like don't like manage expectations, people.
I think they're gonna play it safe and they're gonna do like two guys stranded or two crews stranded on a planet somewhere. They're going to do one where, like, there's a mutation of some sort. Like, people change or a crew member changes into something else. They're definitely going to have an episode where Una's family or somebody's family comes on board and we get to meet the, like, comedic family comedic relief or something. Like, Luwak, can't even say her name. Troy's mother.
Luoxana.
Luoxana. And the mother from the latest episode of Lower Decks, something like that. Mm-hmm. And they're definitely going to have an episode where it's something to do with androids. It's going to be that TOS thing where it's like not quite Data, but it's like something like
they need to bring in Corby. Christine Chappell meets like this dude Corby, and like they kind of like hit it off.
See, that's the kind of
I was
thing
thinking that a prequel
well.
to What Little Girls Are Made Of. That's exactly what I think that they have a very good chance of
That'll be
doing
really
in season
cool.
1.
Guess what I just looked up, PJ?
What?
New Eden was a story by Akiva Goldsman. Now that we know that New Eden was pushing for a Pike show from way back in season 1 of Discovery, and that's probably that. And he admitted, not even probably, that's absolutely why they brought Anson Mount into Discovery season 2. New Eden was a test run. New Eden, like, say what you will about Akiva Goldsman, but New Eden was an Akiva Goldsman test run of what Strange New Worlds would look like.
I agree, because that is the best episode of Discovery season 2.
Yeah, that's one of the best episodes of Discovery ever.
Yeah.
I think that honestly might be my favorite episode of Discovery ever.
It's the one episode I think that if Ruben watched, he might like.
I love it.
Because it is like
New Eden, Ruben. New Eden.
What at that time you didn't know what the whole signal stuff
The
became
signal.
very frustrating and stupid. But at the time when it was only the second episode, we didn't really know about the
Before
big
we
mystery.
knew how dumb it would get, yeah.
Before we knew how dumb it would get, they have this very episodic thing where they go down to a planet. How that church got there ends up making absolutely no sense. But we don't need to know that in this episode. But as a standalone episode, it fucking works as like good Star Trek. That's what I'm saying.
And Anson Mount is so good in it.
Starfleet, remember how I saw episode 3? Because you paid for my ticket, because otherwise I wasn't going to go see it.
Oh yeah,
He's talking about
this.
Star Wars. I
Star
paid
Wars,
for.
yeah,
I
episode
paid
3.
for
I know
Ruben.
this story.
I respect
Ruben
you
and
so much for that, Ruben, because I didn't like the Phantom Menace, and then I thought Attack of the Clones would be better. The trailer looked a lot better, and I went and saw Attack of the Clones, and I hated it. And then I said, like, I swore I was not gonna see episode 3. And then, like, I saw, like, the trailer for it, and I was like, it looks like this might actually be the one that, like, justifies it and everything. And I ended up going to see it, and I didn't like episode 3. And to this day, I kind of regret. I was like, man, like, I should have, like, stuck to my morals and just not, like, that would have been so cool if I had just gone, like, all these years without ever seeing Revenge of the Sith. And I like, I'll never forgive myself for caving and giving in.
I remember I negotiated a drink and a hot dog too,
Yes.
and then the drink was huge, so I had to pee so bad. So as soon as the credits rolled, I just got up because I needed to pee, and obviously it looks like I just stormed out of the theater because I hated the movie, which is true anyway. I hated the movie anyway, but I didn't. That's the only time I saw it in the theater, and he paid for my ticket.
I had to experience. Ruben and I grew up together, as you guys know, and so Star Trek and Star Wars were a huge part of growing up together, and Back to the Future. A lot of movies, a lot of Indiana Jones.
You know the classics.
Yeah, the classics, if you will. Yeah, the classic. I can't believe those are the classics now. But anyways,
The Giants.
The Giants. Yeah. When we went to see episode 1, a fissure happened. Like, that was like when this moment happened where two people went off in one direction and two people went off in another. I was in the two people that went off in one, and Ruben was in the two people that went off in the other.
What did you like about that movie? Like,
what, about Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
We went to see this
like
thing where,
Jar Jar and Anakin.
It's more like it was more like the whole thing of, okay, I'll just say this.
It was the novelty of it at the time. People were blinded by the fact that it was so revolutionary in terms of visual effects.
To this day, I don't know how to describe this, but Coruscant, to me, is like
the boringest planet. Like the stupidest thing to ever happen in Star Wars.
But ever since I was a kid, I was obsessed with Coruscant. And probably because I,
You read the Timothy Zahn novels?
Not just that, but like just the idea of
because it didn't exist before then, right? That's what invented it.
Yeah. Well, George Lucas, I feel like George Lucas named it, but that's what Timothy.
He took the name from the Timothy Zahn.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, okay, it's the other way around.
George Lucas didn't create that much of Star Wars. A lot of it was other.
So
people.
Timothy Zahn can be credited with basically taking from Foundation. That's interesting. But anyways, I was obsessed with Coruscant. I was obsessed with
Did you know it was Coruscant, or did you think it was Coruscant? Because I always thought it was Coruscant until the movie came out.
I can bring people on the show to tell you that I always said Coruscant, and people were like, no, it's Coruscant. And I was like, no, it's Coruscant. And then I was so happy. That was also one of the wins. It's minor, but it was a huge deal.
What about Palpatine? Did you know that was Palpatine?
Yes,
was it Palpatine?
No, I said Palpatine as well. You said Coruscant. Yeah. And I would say, no, it's Coruscant. And everyone would say
it to be a jerk.
But everyone was laughing at me saying, that sounds like croissant. And I was like, no, it's Coruscant. I said it right from the beginning. Anyways, this is too nerdy. We're gonna lose our audience.
Did you like when Supreme Chancellor Valorum was holding a meeting on the taxation of trade routes?
I actually did. That's
and then
that's
Queen
what I loved.
Amidala had to present to the other delegates
that was the day I turned in my nerd
no
card.
confidence.
I fully say that's the day I turned in my nerd card.
I also love.
Do you know what I thought when I saw that?
I was the only person in the theater that when the first episode 1 finished, everybody was like, ah! And I was like,
British
what?
Parliament is more
Are you all
entertaining.
crazy? Are you fucking crazy?
I also love.
No, Sohel, stop. I gotta ask you something. Why the fuck? This guy, the movie opens, the Supreme Chancellor, he sends these 2 Jedi to go deal with this space blockade, and these guys go over there, their fucking ship gets blown up, so the bad guys are fucking murdering the transport, the space president, the fucking prime minister of the galaxy sent over there, these 2 Jedi agents that he dispatched according to the opening crawl. And then they're having like their big meeting in the Senate chambers, and he's like, "Well, I don't know what really happened. Maybe we have to send like a team to investigate." Ask the fucking people you sent there, you stupid ass! What the fuck?
It was a commentary on exactly what's happening right now. I think it was ahead of its time because this is like
It was a script that had zero thought put into it.
But we live in a society where you could literally see something happening on TV with your own eyes, like, or in person, but like a person in a leadership position will say, "Well, we're not sure that happened," and everyone's like
Natalie,
you know what I mean?
Portman.
I mean, to be fair, I'm a deep fake right now, so
He's actually a Russian bot.
I actually love the way she delivers.
I'm
that
actually
line.
Alex Kurtzman.
What if the way who delivers what line?
Natalie Portman when she's like vote of no confidence.
So she was too stupid to ask him, like, why don't you just ask, like, I know these dudes, like, they can come and tell you right now that the Trade Federation illegally invaded my planet and blew up their ship, killed the poor pilots that flew them over there.
Did you ever see that behind the scenes thing about making Phantom Menace and George Lucas just gradually losing more and more confidence, isn't it? The more he sees of it,
I've never
he's just
seen
like,
this.
I don't know. He's very unsure about it.
Yeah, he says, like, what does he say? He's like,
I like that
well, you know,
sound effects.
it's stylistic. It's very, you know, like bombastically jarring, going from one thing to the next, and it's stylistically designed to be that type of intensity. But there might be a way we can minimize the impact. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like Ben Burt, who actually knows what the fuck he's doing, who edited that movie. God bless his heart.
It's poetry.
He's telling
rhymes.
George Lucas, he's like, you know, just like in a span of like 15 minutes, you're going from this to this to this. Different, like, if you watch like the original trilogy, they're so fucking there's such a level of clarity and craftsmanship and the way that it can like tonally focus in on the exact emotional beat from scene to scene, and there is a consistent vision. And then you watch like these prequel movies and like nothing fits together. There's not like a consistent like tone mapping.
No,
there's no tone.
Poems.
In like
It's
one
tone
scene
poems.
you'll have like
the spirit in me.
You'll have like R2D2 do like some weird little dance in the background to like make kids laugh and have like a cool action sequence, and then something that's supposed to be like dramatic and hard hitting like all happen at the same time in the same scene, and it's just like a bunch of garbage swirled together and thrown on the screen with a lot of weird CGI that looks like a cartoon.
Can I ask a question of everybody?
I do have to get to the restroom though, but go ahead.
Before the movie came out and you knew it was going to be about Darth Vader becoming Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I'll start with me. But what were your expectations for how it would play out? Because before I saw the trailer and knew it was only going to be like a kid Darth Vader, even after the trailer, I figured in the first movie, he's like going to grow up and like they're going to train. And by the end of the movie, he's going to be like kicking ass or something, right? That didn't happen. I had no interest in Attack of the Clones. But anyway, the way it played out, I always thought they would speed it up a bit and they wouldn't be bogged down with all these like little fucking details. And the whole thing with Jake Lloyd, I don't blame him. He's just a kid, but like it didn't work. It doesn't work when you watch it now. And the thing with him and Natalie Portman, like, it's weird. And
Are you an angel?
Real quick.
Yeah,
before,
it's like, but
I have to clear
go
this
ahead.
comment, which is Star Trek Picard was it's OCD. I'm sorry. Star Trek Picard was an ecstatic experience for Starfleet. Yes. Okay. Comment cleared. Yay. Okay. Go back to what you were saying.
For me, it was like being trapped in the dungeons of Mordor.
But I thought, but the way that
You have
trilogy
elected the way of pain.
Let me finish my thought.
That's Orthanc, by the way.
And then
Like,
I want to go to Marcelo next because he's been very quiet.
Yes.
I thought it was gonna be the first movie. He's like grows up, and then in the second movie, he would be like, basically like Attack of the Clones, but not a big stupid cartoon. And then like at the end of the second one, he would turn, and the third one would be all about like him taking over, and then like it would all be about that. But they were too slow. It was too slow, and the first two didn't work at all. I mean, Revenge of the Sith is okay.
PJ, one of the highlights for me and one of the unexpected things for me was Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Like I didn't expect them to be such a impactful thing for me. Like that's, I think, like despite whatever you want to say about
it was a wasted opportunity to kill him too, to kill him and to kill Darth Maul. You could have had Liam Neeson and Darth Maul
right
in the next one and kill both of them in the third, and that could have been the big like fucking thing where they both die and like it's a draw type of thing.
Or had Darth Maul be a more compelling villain, and he kills Qui-Gon Jinn, but that's kind of what elevates him to be like, I'm a real badass, and he comes back in the next movie.
Yes, that's what everybody like wanted when they. I'm sure that's what everybody was thinking.
But
like,
but
oh,
it does something.
And then he dies, and they're like, even then they thought like, okay, he's gonna come back somehow.
I mean, Darth Maul does get his day, so to speak, and speaking of Obi-Wan, they have like a further conclusion. But
Clone Wars,
but what I will say is that like for me, that's the standout thing about Episode 1. Anakin, yes, I wish Anakin was I wish they didn't start so young, or that but whatever. But like to me, the prize of Episode 1 is Obi-Wan.
Jar Jar. When Jar Jar sticks his tongue into the pod racer and gets electrocuted,
it's
and goes,
Obi-Wan. It's like all of a sudden Star Wars was telling the story of Obi-Wan, I thought, just as powerfully as it had of Luke. Like to me,
he is the best character out of all three movies.
Yeah, and the ending works, the lava scene works because Obi-Wan. I think that's the thing.
The high ground, Anakin.
Yeah, that does not work. I'm sorry.
I just think for me, the prequels are more focused on Obi-Wan and Yoda, but Obi-Wan specifically than Anakin. Oddly enough, Anakin's interesting.
It sounds like you're putting on blinders and you're looking at the things that might have been decent, so you can ignore the other 80% of the
from
movie.
The
that's
start,
all bullshit.
I was obsessed with the Obi-Wan stuff. Like I'm still to this day. I'm so excited about the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan series that's coming out. Like to me,
we're gonna have to see him and Hayden Christensen fight each other again.
I don't know.
No, I hate that. That messes up the original trilogy. When he's like, when last we met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. Only a master of evil.
I think it's just gonna be flashbacks.
They ruined that. They ruined that.
don't expect. What were you saying about lowering expectations earlier? Just like know that Hayden Christensen's in it, and so.
Oh, I expect this Obi-Wan show to be fucking terrible. I expect that I rip my hair out when I watch it. I'm gonna run out into a volcano.
Can you rip your
and get
hair
burnt
out?
up.
Can you rip your hair out?
I'm gonna run into a volcano and catch myself on fire, and then they're gonna have to build me into a Darth Vader like body, except I'll be like really fat and also have like this cap on top of the Darth Vader helmet, and I'll become Darth Father.
I want you to be Darth Father. Oh my god. Blue says Starfleet Boy and Ruben's real life relationship is amazing to me. They are so opposites attract. Yes. We are.
They're like the odd couple.
It's like that Paula Abdul song.
When we're opposite, it's an interesting mix. But we're very similar in a lot of ways.
There's also deep-rooted stuff that stems back to when I was Ruben's slave boy in elementary school, and he forced me to do all these things.
Don't finish that sentence.
Okay. Fun will now commence says Terry Matalis is in charge of the second season of the Picard series. Michael Okuda and Doug Drexler are working on it as well.
I didn't know that.
You got to that comment
Okuda
half
was
an
on
hour
it.
later.
Yeah, I know. We talked a lot about stuff.
I didn't know that. I knew Okuda had been working on Lower Decks, but I didn't know he was in Picard too. That's cool.
I'm excited.
Michael Okuda.
That means they needed Okudagrams. I guarantee that's what they went to him for. They're like, hey, can you draw up some new Okudagrams?
Yeah, I'm so glad he's participating. Yeah, BRB VJ's back already. Blue was LOLing about something.
Did
more
Marcelo ever
more
say
orgasms.
his version of Star Wars?
No, we didn't hear it. Marcelo, speak your truth.
Yeah, the only thing.
And I'm gonna go to the restroom while you do that.
I'm gonna say two
That's
things about Star Wars. When I was a kid, there were certain things about Episode 1 that really bothered me. Number one was the tone. I thought the tone was off. Jar Jar Binks was awful. Jake Lloyd was a disaster. I generally think George Lucas is a one in a one in a generation storyteller, but he doesn't know how to get the best performance out of his actors. He's like faster, more intense. That's it. Um, and for me, the prequel series would have worked better if they would have started at episode 2 and then gone into episode 3. And that's all I want to say about that. But I am, I'm a much bigger uh, Star Trek fan than I am Star Wars fan. So that's all I have to say about that.
Ruben, you did not watch The Mandalorian, correct?
Oh, I watched the first episode and a half because the second episode froze on me, and I never went back to watch it.
I wish I could have your indifference.
Yeah.
Like if I just lost patience with something, I was like,
Everyone likes The Mandalorian, though. Like, it's... I don't know, Ruben maybe didn't...
I mean, no, I did not like it, but it didn't really. I just don't care about seeing more of the same shit.
Yeah, but that's the Mandalorian's the only piece of Star Wars since 1980 that everyone agrees on that they like.
I would agree. It definitely was the least polarizing of the new, of the Disney era of Star Wars.
I would say even before that, like the prequels,
yeah,
and even Return of the Jedi. We probably all like Return of the Jedi because we were so little when it came out. But there's like the people who were like grown ass adults in '83. They went and saw that, and they're like, "Why the hell is there a teddy bear picnic in my Star Wars movie?"
Yeah, what's up with these teddy bears?
Return of the Jedi was
all
the
over
first
the
one I
place.
ever saw.
Yeah.
When I was 7.
What's
And
up with this frog guy saying it's a trap? That looks
I
stupid.
saw them backwards as a
No,
kid
Dad, they're
for the
fish
first
people.
time.
Yeah.
The original
No.
trilogy.
Yeah. No,
I saw
mean,
Return of the Jedi first.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
The original Star Wars second, and I didn't actually see Empire Strikes Back in its entirety. I saw bits and pieces of it,
Yeah.
but I never saw it in its entirety until the special edition in the theaters when I saw all 3 of those in theaters in '97, which was great because Empire is the one he messes with the least. Empire is the one you can point to and say that's the way you do a special edition.
Yep.
I'm not back, but I just want to say that the Mandalorian series, season 1 and 2, I don't know what's ahead, but if it just ended in season 1 and 2, to me it's the spiritual sequel to Return of the Jedi. All right, I'll be back.
It does fit right in. You know, it's just a few years after Return of the Jedi, so you can watch the original trilogy and then like sit down and watch this Mandalorian show, and it all lines
You'll
up.
be fine.
Yeah. The first episode and the very last one of season 2 is just like one complete story. If they never came back with the Mandalorian, you can still have those 2 seasons be a complete satisfying story that has an arc. Is a definite character arc for the Mandalorian himself, which by the way is partially played by a guy who was on Starfleet Boy After Dark earlier this year, Brendan Wayne.
Yep.
They're not filming season 3 until next year. Like,
But
it's going to be a while.
The Book of Boba comes out in December, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
So we should see a trailer for that.
I bet in New York. We'll get one at New York. I bet.
Yeah, and I bet you if they don't release one at New York, they're gonna release one on Disney Plus Day on the 12th November
Of October.
12th.
Isn't it crazy? We're going to get
it's November 12th.
We're going to get.
They'll definitely do something then.
We're going to get into 2022, and we're going to have multiple live action and animated Star Trek and Star Wars series. So if you like the both of them,
we're gonna go mad, right?
I'm never gonna get any sleep.
We're gonna go mad.
Yeah. I don't do Star Wars animated. I only do the live action.
I need to get caught up on Bad Batch, but I'm like in the Bad Batch. That's fun, but it's not. it doesn't have a lot of substance to it. It's just kind of it's fun and kind of like a way that like I like old like 80s like Transformer cartoons or something. It's like these kind of
Prodigy
lovable
has-
heroes. They're like Ninja Turtles. They're basically like Ninja Turtles, Star Wars Ninja Turtles. You know, like
Star
they're
Wars
all
Ninja
no, they're
Turtles.
all kind of likable. They're all kind of likable. They all have like their own like little cool things, like their things. They're like a little bit. They're not like deep 3-dimensional characters, but they're 2D. They're 2-dimensional characters, and they just
What
go
was
on like
that?
fun little adventures.
Looked like a turtle in a trench coat.
Who's everyone's favorite Ninja Turtle? Starting
Raphael, obviously.
with starting with Marcelo, and then we'll read this comment. But Marcelo, going clockwise. Who's everyone's favorite turtle?
I like Leonardo.
All right, the Boy
Raphael.
Scout.
Yeah, the Boy Scout. Yeah,
Ruben.
he's muted.
He's gonna say Michelangelo.
The Stoner.
No,
Would it be
I
cool
was
if
a
they-
Donatello guy or Leonardo.
Donatello.
Oh, Donnie does machines. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Donnie because when I was a kid, I always liked like the smart, like the Spock type or like the scientific type. But I don't know. Now I probably would. I don't know. I like all of them.
I never understood how Donatello was able to type on keyboards.
Yeah, them thick ass turtle
His
fingers.
fingers are too thick, right?
We got a comment from Smart Smears.
Can I read it?
Yeah, but you gotta do it in a funny voice.
I'll just read it like a regular person. Lower Decks inadvertently makes fun of disco and pick sometimes, like it uses an evil AI trope here. A few weeks ago, they made an eject warp core to end a plot joke. When I should have read, I don't know. It's not. Wait, hold on. A few weeks ago, they made an eject warp core to end a plot joke when that was the Disco season 3 finale. Which one was that? I can't remember.
They ejected the core out of the model Cerritos in an embarrassment of Dupplers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. When
Well, the eject warp core
when
thing is something as a trope I would expect they would make fun of in Lower Decks.
Yeah, and there were some attempted warp core ejections in The Next Generation. One we actually saw on screen in Voyager, and then in Star Trek 09.
I have complaints about the season finale of season 3,
Mm-hmm.
but that end part where they eject the core and then jump out of there, I mean, it's classic, it's tropey, but it was effective. I think I like that.
Yeah, it was just like a little
Even though the
weird how
episode
it
with
was scripted. When
And the
other
whole
thing-
the thing with the fucking you don't know the size of the ship. It's very confusing.
yeah, no one liked that. They're gonna have to explain that. That has like bigger on the inside tech or something.
the thing about the season finale of season 3 of Star Trek Discovery is it plays like a serious finale for some reason.
It does.
Like,
It does.
I
feel
don't
like
think
that.
it does because they set up like this other storyline with Book, and then with Saru. I don't think it was ever. I think all these actors are under 5-year contracts, and I don't think there was ever any plan to make that a series finale.
No, I don't think. I don't know, Marcelo, if that's what you were trying to say, but I think. I think their intention was to make it feel like a season finale. Like, let's have a season that really like has conclusion and like closure. But you have to look at that last episode because you have Saru going away. You have Burnham finally becoming captain.
Mhm.
You have like it looks like the Federation's on the right track. In a way, somebody could be fooled to think if they didn't know any better, well, this
That's
feels like the end of the journey.
Yeah,
But
that's what
very easily you could just pick it up and keep going. Like
Yeah.
either way, but I can see where people were like,
yeah, that's
the
what,
end, it's the end of
but
an
that-
arc.
that's just because
yeah, that's what I was. That's
they
what
were
I was
a little
trying to
too
say.
they were effective in ending the season well. I think despite like the things about the TARDIS effect in the ship and which is really annoying and the
bigger on the
actiony like die-hardy tropes which are fun sometimes, but like they did, I think and the burn thing is just they're getting. It's faint praise, but like they're getting better at figuring out like how to start and end a season. It's just everything in between is a little all over the place.
I
Season
really
4 is
liked
more
the
coherent.
second to last episode of Discovery season 3. When like Osira and Admiral Vance had that like
the
conversation about
tete-a-tete, yeah.
Eating shit.
about eating shit. But it was actually like pretty well written, and both those characters seemed so much more compelling then than they had been before. And then I thought there was pretty cool high stakes what was going on with the weird hologram ship and all of that stuff. And then when the finale just turned into like dumb action movie finale, and then the reveal of the burn, that did disappoint me. But I'll say this about
the
Go ahead.
incorporation of Kenneth Mitchell's character was pretty good too.
Yes, I loved Aurelio. I'll say this about Discovery season 4 is that I'm trying to keep my expectations low because I just kind of accept like Discovery is not going to be like the best of like these current shows right now, and that's okay. Like it has its own audience. There's if you were at Star Trek Las Vegas in 2019, there is such a huge like Discovery group there. I was so surprised to see it. Ethan Peck had to turn down autograph. He's like, this guy does not have time to sign more autographs. Like he needs to eat.
He feels like one of the Beatles all of a sudden.
It's like Sonequa Martin Green's autograph line was the second longest. Ethan Peck's was the longest. It was crazy.
I would faint if I met her. I would actually faint.
She's so different in real life too. She's so like bubbly and energetic and positive and happy.
I know.
Nothing like Michael Burnham. She's a good actress. But the thing with season 4, I don't want to get my hopes up too much. But I'll say this about like Michelle Paradise was making adjustments to the show in season 3. So now that she has like the show like where she wants the show to be, I think this might be a better example of what to expect from her than season 3. And everyone talks about like season 3 of Star Trek shows is where like they get like really good. It's like really and truly, like in my opinion, it's all about like season 4. Like Enterprise, the only season of Enterprise that I love is season 4. I think Next Generation does have some great stuff in season 3, but it's not consistently good week to week until season 4.
What season ends with Shades of Grey?
Season 2.
Oh, Best of Both Worlds is the end of season 3 then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right then. Yeah.
That like DS9. Season 4 when they bring Worf on, that show gets so fucking good. Me and Dave just covered season 4. Voyager season 4, yeah, Scorpion, and then we get 7 of 9. And they stop fucking around with the dumb Kazon shit, and they have like Borg and Herosian, and it gets so much better. I love season 4.
If season 4 is the lucky season, just imagine what a live action season 4 of TOS could have been.
Well, you could
really
say
the animated
season 4 was the animated series.
Yeah.
And that first season of the animated series, I think, is pretty damn good.
I look at it as one series, even though technically it's 2, because there's a chunk in one and there's a few in the next. But I just lump them all together.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Blue wants to know: did Star Trek Day set a trend? Is that why they're doing Disney Day? It's actually Disney Plus Day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and before that, Disney did D23 expos. They just don't need a convention.
Disney's birthday since like the beginning, so I think that was called Disney Day too.
And then there was Disneyana back in the day, which
Walt Disney, who said, "Don't worry about the blacks. All the N-words are communist, anyways," or something like that.
What?
And we all line up to give money to his company. Yeah, Google it.
You mean somebody who was born in 1900 whatever had racist values?
I know.
Who was white?
But I just want to know that statement was shocking. I hadn't heard that. Probably just dropped a new
because it's like the NAACP wanted to meet with him and ask like, can we get like more black people to show up in like Disney movies and stuff, or like would you consider like hiring more black people to work at your company? And like I guess like Walt Disney didn't want to do the meeting, and he was just like, "Oh fuck it, like all the N-words are communist anyways. I don't want to meet with them."
There was a documentary, I can't remember the name of it. I've seen a few about Walt Disney, but there was one story about where one of the best animators was an Indian fellow, and
What was his
he
name?
didn't. I can't remember. It's in
Because
this
the
doc-
9 Old Men I know, but I don't remember.
It's anyway. Apparently, Walt Disney saw him and just immediately said, "Get rid of him."
Oh, you would have gotten rid of me. I wanted to be an animator.
Oh yeah,
And
he'd have fired the shit out of you.
you know,
Oh,
like
man.
a lot of the music, TV shows, and movies that we've watched in our lifetime have all involved fallible people.
Did he
What
shit
I think-
himself yet? You're fired. Or did
I
you shit
mean,
yourself yet?
I think it's just like
It's like, you can't avoid it.
The thing is that what Disney, like, you can't say is wrong with Disney today is that it definitely is inclusive. So I feel like in a way that's like kind of like diminishing any feelings.
They don't want to include paying royalties to people.
No, that was like, oh, we said we would talk about this tonight. That's
Do you
right.
remember how they like tried to fix? They tried to fix all the Disney movies.
Yeah,
Before
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
Plus, and the one thing that they were going to do with Dumbo was revoice the crows. They didn't do that. They left the movies alone. The only things that remain changed are things from Fantasia.
That's probably for the best.
That's permanently changed or omitted or
Wait,
something
so
like that.
yeah, so I mean,
but everything else they left alone, and they just have the warning like tobacco use, culturally insensitive depictions or something along those lines or something.
Blue, Father brought up Walt Disney's not
Are
a
you
nice
googling
guy.
it? Are you googling
No,
it? So
I'm not
how-
doing it now. I'm gonna do
There's
it
all
later.
kinds of
I've
jokes
been
for years
drinking.
about
I'm not
how
gonna
he-
Did
go
you
look
watch?
up.
Did you watch
I'm not
Harley
gonna
Quinn
look-
and the Birds
I-
of Prey?
He didn't watch it because it's not a good
No,
movie.
it's really good. I just haven't finished it. Oh my God. This is the part of the show where at the 3-hour mark where we're probably because I have to go watch it. Father, just like you, I have no time. But I am gonna finish it. I have to finish it. I'm so behind a lot of things. We also have to book our hotels for Disney Chicago. That's gotta happen.
Disney Chicago.
Star Trek Chicago,
Trek
Mission
Chicago.
Chicago. Thank you.
Yeah,
We also have to do that. There's so
you
much
gotta
I'm
get that
behind
figured
on.
out.
You know what? I'm taking a day off. We're not doing bread and circuses tomorrow. That's it. I'm gonna take a day
Are you
off.
sure?
No, we should do it. It's like we might as well do it.
Take
I
a
think
day
people are
off.
waiting.
The world isn't going to end.
I am gonna
Ru-
plan a vacation though. I'm gonna
wig
announce
will
it
Ruben
soon.
wear?
Ruben, what is bread and circuses even about? I don't remember that episode.
It's about they go to the Roman planet.
Oh, now I
where
do
it's
remember.
like
Okay, I
Earth,
do
but the
remember
Roman
that episode,
Empire
yeah.
existed till the 20th century.
Uh-oh, Ruben's gonna wear a toga. Yes, we're gonna get Ruben
gonna
in
be
a
Caesar.
toga. He's gonna be Caesar. Hail Ruben.
Is that the one where it starts out the dude's a giant?
No, that's,
that's
who
Apollo,
mourns for Adonais. Apollo.
Adonais, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is
Which
the
I
one.
said wrong my whole life till Father informed me.
Yeah, it's not
that
Adonis, it's Adonais.
It's Adonais, yeah.
It was actually Dave's brother, Matt Farabee, who taught me that.
Legit Matt Farabee.
I met him at a friend's Christmas party, and he was there, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I knew Dave had a brother that liked Star Trek. Is that you? Do you like Star Trek?" And he was like, "Oh yeah," and we talked about Star Trek for like 2 hours.
Blue says I'm confused. What are you guys talking about?
Has
That's
You already
his-
read that.
Oh,
Has
He
anyone
is,
seen?
he's loaded now.
Has any-
Your
He's
guess is
reading
as
the
good as
comments
ours,
twice.
Lou.
Speaking of Disney, has anyone actually seen Song of the South?
yes.
I've seen clips of it that you can find on
No,
YouTube.
I saw it when I was a kid. I watched the whole thing, but I do remember the song. It's zippity doo dah, zippity
It used
my
to.
oh
It
my,
was an
what
easy
a
movie to
wonderful
find for a
day.
little while at conventions.
What was his name? Uncle Remus?
Uncle Remus, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a channel called.
He's
Well, it's,
like
it's
a-
still there's a Canadian channel called the Family Channel, and they used to air like just Disney stuff. It was actually a pay channel before it was just free, and they used to play all the Disney movies and TV shows, anything related to Disney, and they used to play that an awful lot.
We should explain that to people who don't know what it is. But Uncle Remus was, I guess, like a slave who would dance around and sing songs and tell stories to children about Br'er Rabbit.
There were a bunch of Brer Rabbit. That's
The
right.
offensive thing about it, obviously, is that it's a happy-go-lucky, positive portrayal of slavery. That's
He was like,
that's the
I
bottom
sure do
line.
love being a slave, I tells you what.
You do that really well. It's like a kind of a
Now you're being insensitive.
no. It was spot on. It was like kind of a good. But anyways, Uncle Remus was an attempt to kind of. I think it was an attempt, just like Uncle Tom, to give sympathy for the slavers, which should never have happened.
Yeah, it's like that mentality of like, slavery wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
and
it's horseshit
And
and ahistorical.
all they mean by that is that it wasn't as horrid 24/7. It was still fucking horrid. It's just like
No, but
it's like this
in
retroactive
essence,
sugarcoating of it. It's like because there's a thing about like because there was a time like back in the 50s and 40s and stuff where people still had grandparents that were alive that owned slaves. So it's
Where
like,
that were
it
slaves.
was like or were slaves, and there was this kind of like apologetic kind of attitude, like it wasn't that bad, and it's like we didn't, it's like
Well,
it's probably
I
a
mean-
fact. It's probably a fact that some slaves were treated better or worse than others, like any other human being in any situation. But to like, they weren't
they're
woke,
propaganda,
man.
basically.
They weren't woke
those
back
two
then, man.
properties.
They needed to
Read
get woke
'em.
back in the 40s.
I think
Read
people
Frederick
were
Douglass. Frederick
Yeah.
Douglass wrote about like when he was a slave, when he was a little kid, and he said like, they would just like bring out like these buckets of slop to like feed the slave children, and then they were just like scooping the shit up with like their bare hands and eating it like they were like a bunch of hogs eating out of a trough together, and like the bigger kids would always get like the most food, and littler kids wouldn't be able to get to any of it. And it's like, like you were treated like an animal when you were a child. That sounds like unbelievably terrible. Like, it's
Also-
just insane.
Also, those books and later like that whole tradition was just it's propaganda. It was propaganda to make people like kind of distract you in a way from the real thing. I mean, ultimately, I think this country and many countries that have espoused slavery won't heal those wounds until like reparations are made and proper like apologies, like and public monuments to the right people instead of the slavers. Like once that starts happening, those wounds can heal. But yeah, fortunately, we're at a point where most of society agrees that those are just like useless. They're no longer useful. Although I feel like Zippity Doodah could survive because it's kind of a nice song.
And-
So I think like that's what personally I would like it to survive.
I would like to vote for monuments to no one because no one deserves a monument.
But the use of human beings as slaves has gone on for years, and what people don't realize, it still goes on.
Yes, yes, that's true, PJ.
In
Good
certain
point.
countries that, like, for some reason nowadays, it's very taboo to talk about a certain country because of, like,
Libya?
if you say anything about it, it's, like, very
Are we gonna get
controversial.
shut down?
And if
Are we
a
gonna
celebrity
get shut
says
down?
anything about it, they're shut down, and their movie's shut down.
Are you
and-
mean the villains in Back to the Future are villains in real life?
I didn't name names.
Okay, I'm just going by father. Yeah, like,
But I'm just saying, like, there's countries, people are in, like, modern day concentration camps and shit, man. Like, look what Trump did with the fucking border and shit. Like, it's fucking all these atrocities. I'm not saying that was slavery, the border stuff, but I'm the tearing away from families and stuff like that. But in certain countries, there's slave labor and people are like suffering horribly. And said, I'm going to be blunt, we on this side of the planet tend to benefit from that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
We never
a
really
hard fact.
got rid of slavery. We just sent it all overseas where we don't have to see it.
Wow,
Do you remember Kathy Lee Gifford, that whole
That's so
controversy back in the
hardcore.
day? Do you remember that?
What was that? No, I don't remember.
She had a
this.
clothing line or something, and it was all like little kids making it, and like
Oh,
into a lot of,
sweatshops.
she got into a lot of shit for running sweatshops.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
to
gonna
be fair,
say something
clothes
funny,
made by
but I'm
little
not gonna say it
kids
anyway.
feel a little bit better.
Dark
Thanks.
humor,
Ruben
folks.
said it. Ruben said it. Great. Like you said something similar. Okay, so I think
Let's just
I
say
think we're gonna
let's just say
shut
we
this
should all,
shit
we
down.
should all count our blessings and be thankful for what we have in the wonderful countries of Canada and the United States.
I think we should all appreciate whoever in this room is white privilege and be grateful that the rest of us.
Excuse me, I take offense to that, sir.
and be great.
I'm
And be
offended
grateful.
as a
I mean, I'm
cis white
technically Cuban,
heteronormative.
but I'm just really pale.
No, I'm teasing. Anyways, do you guys have anything? I don't know. Whenever we get like into this deep stuff, I feel like that's more for like the after party. I don't feel like we should.
No,
be
I
sharing
know
that.
that's the good wind down.
That's the
stuff.
good one.
Because when you ended on that, people are left with some serious thoughts.
should
Yeah,
see your
it's like giving
metrics.
some
You should
substance.
see your metrics, and you see like suddenly it just like goes.
I'll tell you what Harry Kim told
we had
Neelix
7 people in the
Star
audience.
Trek,
We have 3 now.
in,
It's like
in the
they all
Star
I'm
Trek
scared
Voyager
shitless anytime
episode,
I talk about
Deadlock.
stuff like that. By the way, like serious stuff, I'm like kind of scared in the back of my mind. I'm like, don't accidentally say something stupid.
It's
But
scary.
I
end up
You're
doing it
absolutely
anyway.
right.
But yeah,
No, it's a
Hey,
that's a real fear. What were you
Your
gonna say,
show
Matt?
can't just be frosting. It can't just be all desserts. Sometimes
Sure.
people want some meat and potatoes.
Although Starfleet Boy is a cream pie usually. Just saying.
oh wow,
Oh yeah, Daddy.
Father, he turned off his camera
Stepbrother, no.
because I said cream pie, and he
you're
knows
not
what
really
that
my
means.
sister.
And he knows what that means. That's why he shut his camera off. He's like, bye. Sorry. All right.
That's sufficiently gross.
But
by
it
the way.
is. It's true. Starfleet Boy is usually a cream pie. Anyways, you can check out Fathery. Fathery, what were you gonna say? Do you have anything to say?
No, you can check out Text Trek every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Central if you want a live discussion on each weekly episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. We're going to be doing Prodigy, Discovery, all of that every week, Fridays at 7:30 p.m. Central. Then you can catch those shows on either late Sunday night or early Monday morning as an audio-only podcast, wherever you get your podcast.
Wow,
Also,
your voice is
if
perfect.
if you're on Facebook and you like Dune, really hot with a new
Yes.
movie coming out right now, join the ATX Dune Club and you can read along with us. We're currently working on Children of Dune, and then we'll be riding the worm across the Arrakis, going on a spice trip to do some God Emperor shit soon. So yeah,
If you walk without rhythm, you won't attract the
you
worm.
walk without rhythm, you won't attract the worm.
That's true.
But you got to walk on the golden path.
That's true. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why am
Or
I
else,
not in
or
your
else
group?
Kralazak is gonna happen.
You're tingling all my
So
Dune tingles. That's great.
yeah, join us and become a Fedaykin Death Commando. That's all I got.
That was great. You can check out PJ tomorrow. Is the premiere of Fathery, myself, and PJ doing Move Along Home on Boat Rack at 9.
Yeah, I just want to say, Marcelo. I see Marcelo's look. I was supposed to include Marcelo, but we did it like very last minute and
That's
like was
cool.
very late. But
No problem.
once I get back my recording abilities, I'll get back on it.
All right, man. No problem.
I'm trying to use OBS now. I'm trying to learn that.
Good luck with that.
No problem.
Alama Rain, count to 4.
Alamarain, 5
And,
times more.
Then
the
3 more.
Next Saturday is me and you, Starfleet Boy, the Negus.
The Nagus. That was a fun episode as well. And then
That's October 2nd.
2nd.
That one is.
You can check out Marcelo at 2 podcasts. One is called The Red Wall and
That's my
radio,
personal podcast.
and then the other one is a podcast devoted to Bad Robot J. Abrams and
Yeah,
company.
it's
Radio 815.
Radio 15, yeah. And
See, I got it this time.
yeah.
I actually got it. struggling for 20 episodes.
Yeah, no, I've actually been on your show longer than that. So,
Ooh, how many episodes are you celebrating with us?
I've been here for maybe 5 months
Have we done so?
or
that would
close
be
to
like-
5 months. Getting close on 5 months.
That's
It's been a
20
long
episodes.
road.
Very long 5
Yeah, a long
months.
time.
But if I could just say one thing
I actually
about
feel like it's blown by. Jeez.
yeah, it's crazy.
Going.
The year's almost
I'm
over, dude.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to you guys now, so I'm really worried.
Oh wow.
I know, but the one thing I want to say about Radio 815 is that we covered, in my opinion, one of the best episodes of Lost ever, Through the Looking Glass. And if you've seen the show, that's where the storytelling goes, whoop! It turns into something completely different. So, if you like Lost, now is the time to join in. Although we do appreciate any new listeners that we get. So you can check me out on my 2 podcasts, or you can come and watch me talk about old stuff like Mission Impossible, Doctor Who, and a whole bunch of other stuff on my YouTube channel. I'm at Balloon Hair Productions.
Thank you. Awesome. Blue says I have to watch Lost. I do too. Is that Dune metal?
Is it Klingon?
No, I think it's Dune inspired metal. Alamarine down to 4. Alamarine, then 3 more. Alamarine, if you can see. Alamarine, you come with me. That's actually really freaking good. I actually enjoyed that. That's really good. Alan Moraine, very nice. You moved to the 5th shaft, Father. We move you to the 5th shaft. By the way, Marcelo, I can vouch that it came together very last minute, and when you listen to it, I'm drunk, and so maybe Father's drunk. I'm not sure.
No.
Whoa, 3s and 7s made it.
I haven't drank anything in forever.
They told me, they told me
trying to
a
lose
few
weight.
weeks ago that it was going to be last minute.
Ruben can be found on ruben-rights.com, as well as Pop Axiom, as well as Rue Morgue. Ooh, I got him. Look at me. I'm so good at this shit. I know what you guys do. That's awesome. And then tomorrow we're doing Bread and Circuses on Starfleet Boy. Come check us out at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Are any of you guys making it? Father's definitely.
Possibly.
I'll try.
Okay. PJ, no. Marcelo, no. All right, cool. Hopefully we had the other usuals on, which is Trek Cat, Ogre Trekkie, and possibly Sub Commander Tall, and maybe even Tilly. So hopefully all y'all will be on tomorrow. PJ, did you have something to say?
No. Until next time, folks. Live
I
long.
love it.